Chapter 8:12. After 2 whole hours, Xing Bowen and Xin Yu were sent down the mountain by the owner of the homestay. However, Xing Bowen was still stumbling and could only rely on Xin Yu's support. The two of them quickly arrived at the hotel at the foot of the mountain. The hotel manager was also very anxious. After all, it was not an ordinary car. It was a Mercedes-Benz limited edition off-road vehicle. We've already called the police, but in the mountains the police force is limited, so the hotel staff went out to look for it first, the manager explained to Xing Bowen. I'm sorry, Mr. Xing. Is there no surveillance? Seeing that Xing Bowen could not speak, Xin Yu helped to ask. I did. The surveillance shows that 3 men wearing masks drove the car away. But as you know, this area is remote and there are no surveillance cameras. Once they are out of the hotel's range, there's nothing we can do, the manager explained. Our people have already gone out to look for it. That car was a birthday gift from my mother. It's been a few years. I didn't expect someone to still remember it. Xing Bowen held his forehead and explained, it's a pity to lose it just like that. It's useless to think so much now. Xin Yu comforted him. It's best if we can find it. After all, this kind of car is not common. We should be able to find it. That's for the best. Xing Bowen had already drunk alcohol and had a bad headache. Now his head was heavy and his feet were light. Xin Yu let him support him and the two of them waited in the hotel lobby. They did not expect that half an hour later there would be news. The manager quickly walked over and said to the two of them, Mr. Xing, our people followed and found out that someone saw the car driving in the direction of the abandoned winery. Send me there. Don't go. He drank so much. Xin Yu stopped him. It's raining again. It's dark and the road is slippery. There's really no need. I'll only be at ease if I see it with my own eyes. Xing Bowen hung on Xin Yu's body. Aren't you here? Xin Yu took a deep breath and finally said to the hotel manager, You guys drive and send us there to take a look. Okay, I'll send a car now. The manager left quickly in his high heels. A moment later, the hotel driver sent the two of them to the location of the abandoned winery. Under the illumination of the car lights, Xing Bowen immediately saw his birthday present parked at the entrance. However, when he got out of the car he almost rolled off. He was quite drunk. Be careful. Xin Yu supported him and the two of them ran towards the off-road vehicle. The top of the car had been turned upside down. From the looks of it, these people were only after the money, not the car. Xing Bowen jumped into the driver's seat and tried to turn on the engine. Seeing this, Xin Yu said to the hotel staff, Go back. The car has been found. Tell your manager not to be so busy. The hotel staff heaved a sigh of relief and drove away from the abandoned winery. At this time, only Xing Bowen and Xin Yu were left in the winery. Xing Bowen was very excited to find what he had lost. He checked it carefully before he was relieved. You scared me to death. After saying that, he said to Xin Yu, Get in the car. I'll take you back. Are you really okay now? Xin Yu asked him. Xing Bowen laid on the steering wheel and said weakly, I want to sleep. Then I'll drive. You can sleep in the back row, Xin Yu said to him calmly and helped him from the car to the back row to lie down. A moment later, Xing Bowen's even breathing came from the back row. Xin Yu immediately took out his backpack and quickly put on gloves, shoe covers and a blue coat. However, what Xin Yu did not know was that all his movements were under Xing Xiao's surveillance. It was also because of his equipment that Xing Xiao understood what he wanted to do. It was not just Xing Xiao but Xing Bowen as well. He had taken the hangover medicine and had been exposed to the cold wind for 2 hours. Along the way, he had pinched the area between his thumb and index finger, reminding himself to be sober just for this moment. So this was what was in Xin Yu's backpack. Xing Bowen had a splitting headache, but he was abnormally sober. The road back to the hotel was not that far, but in order to find a suitable place to commit the crime, Xin Yu deliberately drove very far. In a place where there were no street lamps, no surveillance cameras and few cars, Xin Yu found his target. A white car stood out in the darkness. Before Xing Bowen could react, he could already feel Xin Yu changing lanes and speeding up. At this moment, Xing Bowen seemed to suddenly understand what Xin Yu wanted to do, so he immediately propped himself up to stop him. Xin Yu, stop the car. It was just that he understood a little too late. The two cars collided and Xing Bowen felt the world spin even more. At that moment, Xing Bowen felt as if he was dead. When his ears returned to normal, Xin Yu continued driving. He did not know how many meters forward, but in the end the car was hit by a big tree. Another violent impact made Xingbowen feel extremely uncomfortable. He instantly opened the car door, lay on the ground and started vomiting. After vomiting, he lay on the ground and fell unconscious. He had just been installed on the car door. At this moment, Xinyu got out of the driver's seat, helped Xingbowen up and placed him in the driver's seat. Then he took off his gloves and foot covers, jumped back to the back of the SUV and pretended to faint. Soon the family that had been hit caught up with them. When they saw that the car had crashed into a tree, they quickly called the police. It was another hit and run that had been arranged clearly. And it was still drunk driving. When Xingbowen woke up, he was already at the police station, handcuffed. The strong light stung his eyes and he immediately realized that he was in a trap. "You're finally awake." The interrogating police officer knocked on the table. "Drunk driving and escaping. Prison is waiting for you." This time Xingbowen was very calm. He only asked the police officer, "How are the family that was hit?" "One has a serious fracture and the other two have minor injuries. Fortunately no one died. Otherwise, you'd be in prison for the rest of your life." "Officer, I was drunk at the time and didn't drive at all. The driver was my friend," Xingbowen explained. "If you don't believe me, go ask him. Contact him immediately. You'd better save this trick of yours for the court." "Then can I see him?" Xingbowen begged. "Please. I want to figure it out. Just you wait." The police officer sneered and got up to leave the interrogation room. Then Xinyu walked in. "Why did you do that? I'm so good to you." "I don't know what you're talking about." Xinyu completely treated himself as an outsider. "I tried to persuade you, but you insisted on driving. You knew that you still had a criminal record, but you insisted on self-destruction. Even if I'm a lawyer, I can't save you. You drove the car." Xingbowen shouted on the verge of collapse. "I was drunk and unconscious. How could I drive?" Chapter 8:13. "At first I was thinking that I should help you. After all, you treat me like a brother. But you actually want to slander me for what you did. Xingbowen, are you still human?" After Xingbowen heard this, his eyes turned red like a lion that had lost control. "Why did you want to harm me?" "Why? No one wants to harm you. You're the one who wants to harm yourself. Your crime won't be light. What awaits you will only be the punishment of the law. Wait for your sentence." With that, Xinyu stood up and left the interrogation room. Everything was over. "If you wanted to blame someone, blame yourself for being too stupid, Xingbowen." However, after Xinyu left, Xingbowen gradually regained his calm because he knew very well that everything was over. So this was Xinyu's second step. He wanted to send him to prison completely. It was a pity he couldn't succeed. The news spread very quickly. The news of Xingbowen escaping again quickly spread throughout Jianchuan. However, Huang Yao had already merged with Zhongting, so Xingbowen wasn't worried. The only thing he was worried about was that the old man would be agitated again after hearing it. The old man received the news early in the morning, but he didn't show any expression. Ren Yufei was still thinking about how to appease the old man, but he didn't show the slightest bit of worry. "Stop looking. Eighth brother called me a long time ago." The old man snorted. "These two bastards are getting more and more lawless." "Grandpa, I'm sorry. What's there to be sorry about? It's not true anyway. After eighth brother clarifies it, it'll be fine. I sympathize with the person behind him." The old man knew the severity of the matter. Since the two brothers had worked together to put on such a show, they would definitely make the other party pay a heavy price. "This kid, I told you he's been looking for that Shen kid to eat frequently recently. So it's all because of this matter." Seeing that the old man wasn't worried, Ren Yufei let go of the worry in her heart. Just wait and watch the show. The reaction of the entire Jianchuan was very intense. Xingbowen was portrayed as a heinous criminal. More importantly, this time the evidence was conclusive and he could no longer get away with it. In the morning, Xingbowen was handed over to the Jianchuan police station. Because it was a malicious criminal case, the police immediately arrested him. However, he had learned to keep a straight face when facing an acquaintance. Xinyu had completed his mission well. Jinbo was very happy to see the news. Of course, Sheng Kai also saw the so-called result. This time Xingbowen would not be able to make a comeback. After entering the police station, the police asked Xingbowen to explain the entire details of the drunk driving incident. Xing Bowen did not say anything. He only said to the police, "You promised to let me meet Xin Yu. I'll tell you everything no matter how big or small. You don't have the right to negotiate with the police. But Uncle Police, you don't have any direct evidence that I drove the car. There are no surveillance cameras, right? So I want to see Xin Yu. As long as I see him, I'll confess everything." The police couldn't do anything to him, so they called Xin Yu. Xin Yu originally disdained to see this idiot again, but since he wanted to die, he would let him have his way. On this day, Jianchuan was in an uproar. When Mu Qiqi woke up, she was already at home in the banyan courtyard. Seeing that Xianxia was not around, she immediately got up and went downstairs. She saw Mama Xing watching the news of Xing Bowen's drunken driving and escaping. "Mommy, you're awake? Eighth brother has already asked for leave from school for you. You can rest at home today." Mama Xing turned around and said, "Fifth aunt has made soup for you. Drink some later. You'll feel better." "Mommy, third brother, eighth brother told me to tell you when you wake up. Everything is under control. Don't worry. That damn man had seduced her last night and deliberately knocked her out." She had already reacted. What had happened during this period of time? She really wanted to know. The matter had gotten so big and she did not know how that damn man was going to settle it. "Mommy, I'm not eating lunch. I'm going to Zhongting." Mu Qiqi could not control her worry and curiosity. Now the victims were all over the world and everyone was calling Xing Bowen a piece of trash. Mu Qiqi could not help but be puzzled. Did things have to get so big? "I knew I wouldn't be able to control you. The car has already been prepared for you. Eat something and I'll let you go." "Okay." Mu Qiqi sat down at the dining table and ate her lunch in peace. She did not know that at that moment, Xing Xiao had already set off for the police station. In the afternoon, Xin Yu appeared in the interrogation room. However, this time Xing Bowen requested to talk to Xin Yu alone without being monitored by others. The two of them faced each other. Only then did Xing Bowen look like he had accepted the truth. "Tell me why." "I plead guilty." After Xin Yu heard this, he lifted the corner of his shirt and smiled. "Do you think you still have a choice? Why? I treated you so well and confided in you, yet you schemed against me like this." Looking at Xing Bowen's innocent expression, Xin Yu looked at him coldly and completely tore off his disguise. "I warned you not to trust anyone so easily, but you didn't listen. Did you bail me out just to send me in again? You're finally smart for once." Xin Yu nodded and looked at Xing Bowen with a gratified expression. "You finally understood." "I don't understand. What did I do to offend you?" "You didn't offend me. I was just doing something for someone else. Your second brother found a good backer and named you by name. He wanted to send you to prison as a gift for him. I couldn't do anything about it." Xin Yu glanced sideways at Xing Bowen. "What good person are you living in this world? Look at your current appearance. If you don't look out for yourself, the heavens will destroy you. Be more careful in the future." After Xing Bowen heard this, he knew that it was impossible for him to find out more from Xin Yu's mouth. After all, he was alive and not sentenced to death. Of course, Xin Yu would not tell him the truth. "Xin Yu, you can't get away with Baisini's case, right? Including the person behind you. I just don't know who you are to him. He's definitely not very important. If he was your right-hand man, would you need to personally frame me?" Since things had already come to this, Xing Bowen also planned to tear off his rabbit mask. "You don't need to know. Then let me guess. If you were in prison, he definitely wouldn't have come to save you." After Xin Yu heard this, he suddenly laughed. His shoulders kept trembling. "What is this? Is your IQ suddenly online?" "It's nothing. It's just that the car I'm driving isn't a birthday present, nor is it a gift from my mother," Xing Bowen suddenly said. Xin Yu suddenly became serious. Then he looked at Xing Bowen's smile and it widened bit by bit. Chapter 8:14. "Of course I didn't plan all of this. Otherwise would I have been schemed against by you?" Xing Bowen shrugged casually. He was like a completely different person from before. As a result, Xin Yu's vigilance and curiosity were heavily aroused. "What kind of trick are you playing with me? I'm just a person waiting to be sentenced. Why would I play any tricks with you?" Xing Bowen was still smiling unscrupulously. Xin Yu thought about the whole process in detail. He became more and more uncertain and suspicious. In the end, he got up from his seat. "You're in a hurry to leave? You can't leave. You'll stay with me." The more Xing Bowen spoke, the more excited he became. Xin Yu turned around and hurriedly opened the door of the interrogation room. However, he had only taken a few steps when he saw Xing Xiao enter the police station. "Lawyer Xin, you're leaving just like that? Aren't you going to see what I brought?" Xing Xiao was calm and reserved, but there was a smile on his lips. Xin Yu looked at Xing Xiao, especially his eyes. This unpredictable man was like a god who controlled everything. "It's useless. You can't get Xing Bowen out." "Is that so? Does the police have evidence of Xing Bowen's drunk driving?" Xing Xiao asked calmly. "I'm the evidence. If your one-sided story counts as evidence, then this thing in my hand might directly take your life." After saying that, Xing Xiao handed the surveillance video to the police. "If the person behind you is only at this level, then I think it won't take long for me to find his lair." Xin Yu's face was pale because he had no idea what Xing Xiao had handed to the police. Therefore he could only bluff. "In order to get your brother out, you're really willing to do anything." White latex gloves, blue overalls and black shoe covers. "I can see you clearly in the dark. Looks like I'll have to give the people in the technical department a bonus." Hearing those three adjectives, Xin Yu felt as if he had been struck by lightning. "That's impossible. Impossible. Remember, even a rabbit will bite when it's anxious." Xin Yu broke out in a cold sweat and ran out of the police station. However, Xing Xiao did not stop him. Was a rabbit easy to bully? It was easy to bully, but there was a price to pay for bullying rabbits. The police quickly confirmed the evidence and confirmed that Xing Bowen was innocent. He had been framed. Xing Xiao's video was too clear. Xin Yu really could not deny it. Therefore, half an hour later, Xing Bowen was released by the police station, and Xin Yu became a wanted criminal. Xing Xiao's car was just outside the door. When Xing Bowen saw it, he got into the car awkwardly. "Eighth brother, I knew you would save me. Are you done playing?" Xing Xiao was angry. If Xin Yu had been more insane and hit the car harder, Xing Bowen might have been crippled from then on. Or rather, he might have died in the driver's seat. "If you're done playing, go back and explain it to Grandpa yourself." In any case, he returned after a calamity. How fierce. "So, you know the mastermind behind Xin Yu?" Xing Xiao glanced at him and asked. "I'm just in jail. Do you think he'll tell me about those things and tell you?" However, when he got carried away, he said something that I believed. He said that Xing Kai had found a good backer and I was a gift to Xing Kai. You believe it? Xin Yu took such a big risk for Xing Kai? Alright, I think it's nonsense too. At the very least, he had caught the person who had framed him. He, the rabbit, had bitten back, hadn't he? Eighth brother, the rest of the matter is complicated. Only a cunning person like you can play with it. Xing Xiao did not answer him. At least he was back and the show had officially begun. Xin Yu is related to Bai Sini's case, but he doesn't know much more than Xing Kai. After a while, Xing Bowen suddenly said, "Otherwise, Xin Yu wouldn't have been sent to deal with me. Moreover, he was alone." But he does know something. This was what Xing Bowen was puzzled about. Xin Yu seemed to know a lot, but he also seemed to be bluffing. He knows not because the other party trusts him, but because his instinct to survive makes him want to master something important to save his life. Xing Xiao interrupted Xing Bowen. "No matter what, the other party is so passive now. Let's just wait and watch the show. My head hurts. I can go back and sleep." Xing Bowen blinked and leaned against the back seat. His mind was abnormally clear. "Why didn't Xiao Qi come with you?" Xing Xiao ignored him as if reminding him to ask what he wanted to ask. "Don't send Qi random things in the future. You're taking revenge on me again." Xing Bowen suddenly reacted. Was this considered revenge? "Why did you let Xin Yu go at the police station just now? You could have caught him on the spot. If you caught him on the spot, how would you know who he asked for help, where he was hiding and who he had seen?" Xing Bowen was speechless. As expected, there was no way to play with these scheming big shots. He simply closed his eyes and went to sleep. The trip up the mountain had exhausted all his wisdom. Things had turned around again. Everyone thought that Xing Bowen had been caught on the spot in the car and had been identified by the victim. In addition to the previous case, he would definitely not be able to escape prison this time. However, in just a short afternoon, Xing Bowen was released without charge. Not only that, but the police also issued a wanted order. It turned out that the murderer was Lawyer Xin, who was in the same profession. In the end, there were people who did not believe this. They always thought that the Sheng family had used their background to do something behind the scenes and let others take the blame. However, the evidence in Xing Zhao's hands, dozens of cameras of all sizes, had captured videos of Xinyu committing the crime from all angles. In order to put an end to rumors, Xing Xiao took a short 10-second video and let the media release it. It was the scene of Xing Bowen being caught by Xinyu and placed in the front passenger seat. At the same time, Huang Yao issued a statement saying that Xing Bowen was innocent. The police had sufficient evidence and hoped that people from all walks of life would stop attacking and spreading rumors. In this way, Xing Bowen's innocence would be completely cleared. Xing Zhao's counterattack was very powerful because apart from clarifying Xing Bowen's innocence, he also wanted to force Xinyu so that he and the people behind him would no longer have any hopes of getting lucky. At the same time, he was also warning Xing Kai. There was no way out of fighting with him. Don't waste your energy. In this way, Xing Bowen was completely pulled out of this vortex by Xing Xiao. Want to touch the Xing family? It depended on whether the person in power behind him agreed or not. At the same time, Xing Zhao's car had already driven into the Xing residence. Old Master Xing and Ren Yufei were waiting anxiously at the door. When they saw Xing Bowen get out of the car in a sorry state, Ren Yufei immediately ran over. Chapter 8:15. It's good that you're back, it's good that you're back. Old Master Xing sat in his wheelchair, tears welling up in his eyes. Comfort your wife well. He's really scared. After all, the old man was someone who had been through a lot and Xing Xiao had given him a shot in the arm. So, even if he was worried, he would not be as worried as Ren Yufei. Xing Bowen hugged Ren Yufei tightly and tried his best to absorb the fragrance from her hair. I swear I'll never leave again. Yufei, I'm fine. Ren Yufei hugged Xing Bowen and could not help but cry. Xing Xiao did not stay for another second. After all, the person at home was about to explode. Therefore, he turned around and left, not stopping the couple from confiding in each other. However, during the time Mu Qiqi went to Zhongting, things had already turned around. By the time Mu Qiqi left Zhongting, Xing Bowen had already returned to the Xing family. The matter had already been resolved. Mu Qiqi pursed her lips. She felt wronged and angry. She went straight to Xingting to attend classes. After all, there was nothing else she needed to do. Things had reversed too quickly and things had happened too suddenly. Even Jin Bo had not expected all of this. When Xing Kai saw the news, he could not help but laugh mockingly. He had already said that Xing Xiao was not easy to deal with. Did Xinyu really think that he was that capable? After the incident, Jin Bo immediately called Xing Kai. Xiao Kai, do you know where Xinyu is now? Can you contact him? Godfather, after the incident, Xinyu didn't contact me, Xing Kai replied. I don't know his whereabouts either. He hasn't returned to the villa. After Jin Bo heard this, he nodded and comforted Xing Kai. Xiao Kai, it's nothing. Don't take it to heart. People who do great things have to make sacrifices. I know what I'm doing, Godfather. It's good. Just pretend that you don't know this person. All of this has nothing to do with you. According to Jin Bo, Xinyu, that chess piece could not be kept. Of course, if you have any news about Xinyu, remember to tell me at any time. Was Xinyu useful? Of course it was useful. As a lawyer, he had the highest winning rate in the country, so he naturally had his merits. Whether it was in the open or in the dark, he had made great contributions to Jin Bo. But now, Xinyu had been exposed and was wanted by the police. As Jin Bo, the first thing he thought of was to shut him up forever. Of course, Xinyu knew it himself. Therefore, 2 hours after the warrant was issued, Xinyu turned himself in. That's right, surrender. If he was arrested by the police, he would at most go to jail. However, if he was caught by Jin Bo, he knew that he would not be able to keep his life. It happened so suddenly that Jin Bo was furious. Did he think that everything would be fine if he went to the police station to turn himself in? Xinyu knew that even if he entered the police station, he would not be safe. Ironically, he had to learn Xing Bowen's tricks now. I want to see Xing Xiao. As long as I see him, I'll confess everything. He asked to see Xing Xiao, not Xing Bowen, because he knew that the reason why Xing Bowen could live in peace was because of Xing Xiao. The police then called Zhongting to ask for Xing Xiao's opinion. Xing Xiao agreed to meet Xinyu. Turned out that Xinyu was still smart. He knew that his life was hanging by a thread and knew to ask for help. Therefore, Xing Xiao could not be bothered to go home to coax that punching bag. He directly asked the driver to go to the police station. And when Xing Xiao went, he knew in his heart that even if Xinyu did not say anything, The person behind Xinyu had already regarded him as a thorn in his side. He thought that Xinyu had said everything. The lights in the interrogation room were very dim. The police interrogating the suspects often only gave them a desk lamp. Xianxia entered the interrogation room as promised. When Xinyu saw him, he could not help but laugh. When did you find out that there was something wrong with me? Not long after you returned to China, I saw the cases you were in charge of. One of them was a family with the surname Li. As expected. Xinyu nodded in submission. President Xing, it's a pity that you don't become a police officer with a brain like yours. You asked me to come here to save your life. You have to say something that interests me. Only then will I put in the effort to protect you. Xianxia sat opposite Xinyu. It seemed that no matter what kind of environment he was in, his expression would always be calm. Straightforward. But how can I be sure that if I tell you all this you will keep me safe? Xinyu turned to look at Xianxia and smiled. President Xing, how can you guarantee it? You have no choice now. You can only trust me because you know very well that under such circumstances, I, your enemy, am the most worthy of your trust. Xianxia leaned back in his chair. He had always been calm because he knew that Xinyu was begging him. The person behind me has a fake name. I don't even know what his real name is. I also don't know how many people he has adopted to work for him. I'm just one of them, Xinyu told Xianxia calmly. In essence, I'm no different from Xing Kai. It's just that he's being raised as a scapegoat, while I'm a chess piece that has to be obedient. Wherever he needs me, I have to serve him. Xianxia nodded. Xinyu told Xianxia in a calm voice. I might not know more than Xing Kai. I just have a little more brain than Xing Kai because I know very well that this day will come sooner or later. I won't tell you what I know directly because this is the condition of my negotiation with the other party. As long as I die, the secret will fall into your hands. Xianxia, I'm sorry, but you've also been tricked by me. After Xianxia heard this, the corners of his lips curled up slightly. It doesn't matter as long as you can really survive. Whether I can survive or not depends on you. As a reward, I'll give you some superficial information. This is the information I overheard after narrowly escaping death. The Xing family and the Xin family are each other's stumbling blocks. You're already in the game and neither of you can escape unscathed. Xianxia was not Xing Kai and of course he was not Xing Bowen. The information that Xinyu had revealed was enough for him to think of many things. Since it concerned the Xin family, the answer should be Mu Qiqi's second uncle. That's all I can say. President Xing saved my life, so I didn't come in vain. After saying that, Xinyu laughed and immediately called the police at the door in. Officer, I want to confess. Xianxia remained silent and left the police station. In fact, this had already exceeded his expectations. At least, Xinyu had given him a clear direction. The driver was waiting at the door. When he saw Xianxia come out, he asked, President, where are we going next? Back to Zhongting, Xianxia replied lightly. In fact, he did not believe that Xinyu could really survive. Chapter 8:16. From yesterday to this evening, Mu Qiqi only felt dizzy. She was so angry that she simply went back to the Xin family. She did not want to see the man who lied to her about everything. Xin Jianchuan made an antique collection room. When he saw his daughter coming home, he felt that the sun had risen from the west. How long has it been since you came back to see your father? I'm back now, aren't I? Mu Qiqi sat on the chair and watched him clean the antiques. Dad, you're almost recovered now. Don't you want to find another one? Xin Jianchuan pushed his thin glasses and looked down at the antique in his hand. I'm already this old. What else is there to find? I can miss your mother. That's enough. Mu Qiqi leaned on the table, feeling unhappy. Go and see your grandfather. I'll clean up and come out for dinner. Okay. Mu Qiqi got up and went to old Master Xin's fish pond. It was spring now. There were all kinds of expensive flowers in the yard. They were all taken care of by old Master Xin himself. Grandpa, why are you free today? Old Master Xin put away his fishing rod and turned to look at his granddaughter. Where's Xianxia? Don't mention him. He's angry. Mu Qiqi squatted beside him and answered. No wonder you came back so eagerly. Your family is so close. You must be very happy. Mu Qiqi helped old Master Xin up and the two of them went to the Xin family's dining room. Huang Yu was excited when she saw Mu Qiqi. You're such a busy person. Why did you come back to have dinner with your grandfather today? He came back because she was wronged. Old Master Shin snorted. The two families are so close. Did you see her climb over the threshold? Grandpa. Mu Qiqi looked at Old Master Shin and scolded her. Tell me, what did Xianxia do to you? The way I see it, you're usually so lawless, it's all because he spoils you. Mu Qiqi did not say anything. She just sat down at the dining table and served the dishes to Old Master Shin. I should come back more often to eat the dishes in the small kitchen at home. I should learn how to fish from Grandpa and how to identify antiques from Dad. I should cultivate the noble character of a young lady. Dad, since Qiqi doesn't want to say it, let's eat. Our daughter has been bullied outside and has come back. Let her feel the warmth of a family. It was rare for Huang Yu to be so considerate. I'll clean up Qiqi's room later. You can sleep here tonight. Thank you, second aunt. Old Master Shin glanced at her and snorted coldly. He did not say anything. Xianxia would definitely ask him for her later. I'm going to stay at my aunt's place for a few more days tomorrow. 8 o'clock at night. When Xianxia entered the house, Mama Xing looked at him with a complicated expression. Xianxia, you didn't pick up Xiaoqi? She's not back yet. Maybe she's in her room. You can go and see for yourself. Mama Xing was not sure because she did not hear anything when she got home. Ask her to come out for dinner. Xianxia went upstairs and found that the entire second floor was empty. There was not a single person. He thought that she had gone to Feng Shanshan's house, but Tang Yan said that he did not see her. Xianxia took a deep breath. Had he really spoiled this thing? Xianxia made all the phone calls and in the end he thought that the thing might have returned to its mother's home. Mom, I'll go to the Shin family to have a look. What are you guys doing? Mama Xing poked her head out and asked Xianxia. Qiqi is not a petty person. How did you piss her off? We'll talk when she's back. Xianxia said these words and quickly went to the Shin family's house. At this moment, Mu Qiqi was watching the military channel with Old Master Shin when the butler suddenly came in and told the two of them, son-in-law is back. He's looking for Miss Qi. Mu Qiqi did not say anything. When Old Master Shin saw this, he stood up and said, all right, I'll go meet her. Mu Qiqi's heart was originally soft-hearted, but when she thought of what that man had done all day, she got up angrily and went straight to her room in the Shin family. Xianxia entered the door and did not see anyone. He really had a headache. Old Master Shin walked out eagerly. When he saw Xianxia, he snorted. She's so angry that she went back to her mother's home. Eighth brother, that's not what you promised me back then. Grandpa, other than picking up Qi, I also have something to ask you. Xianxia did not forget what Xin Yu had said to him in the interrogation room. Neither the Xing family nor the Shin family could escape. Since it involved the Shin family, Xianxia naturally had to know whether the old man was confident or not. Is it important? Xianxia nodded. Let's go to the study. The couple had never blushed before, so the old man only allowed Mu Qiqi to throw a tantrum. He knew that the couple would not make a big fuss, so he went to the study with Xianxia. The two of them sat in the study and talked for more than half an hour. Only then did Old Master Shin understand the whole story. Eighth brother, I'm afraid this matter is aimed at the Shin family. Zhongting is now a military enterprise and you're supporting the Shin family. The old man knew what was going on. When second brother comes back, I'll have a good talk with him and see if he's confident. It seems that third brother has been implicated by the Shin family. Fortunately, he's fine. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to sleep and eat in peace. I'll follow up on this matter at any time. Because it involves a murder case, I'm also cooperating with the police, Xianxia told the old man. It's also because I'm worried about Qi's safety that I didn't let her know about many things. Who knows better than you what kind of temperament this girl has? You're the one who brought her up. Her personality and temper are 80 to 90% similar to yours. You can coax her yourself. I'm too lazy to care. Xianxia was silent and followed Old Master Shin out of the study. Huang Yu was sitting in the living room. When she saw Xianxia, she smiled. Even eighth brother has a day of being defeated. Second aunt, where's Qi? She's in her room. Huang Yu pointed. This is also your house. I won't lead the way. Xianxia nodded. He thought that this was the Shin family. If this was the Banyan courtyard, he would have pressed her butt and spanked her. Of course, since she was still in the Shin family, he couldn't keep thinking about bullying their daughter. Seeing Xianxia walk to the corridor, Huang Yu thought for a moment and chased after him. She gave him something. Here the door key. Thank you, second aunt. Xianxia accepted her kindness and quickly walked to the little one's room. The lights were on in the room. She must be inside. Open the door. I'm here to take you home. Mu Qiqi sat on the bed with her back facing the door. She ignored him. Xianxia waited for a while. Seeing that there was no movement in the room, he opened the door with the key. Mu Qiqi didn't expect to be betrayed by Huang Yu. She maintained her original position with her back facing the man. If he dared to do anything, she would shout. After all, this was her maiden home. Turn around. Chapter 8:17. Xianxia ignored her. He quietly closed the door and locked it. Then he turned her around and pressed her down on the bed. You've grown up. You ran away from home. When you had a crush on me, you wanted to go to hell with me. Now you know how to throw a tantrum? Mu Qiqi was so angry that she wanted to bite the man's nose, but she couldn't bear to. You don't tell me anything. It makes me feel very uncomfortable. I'm immature and not good enough, but I've never dragged you down or caused trouble, right? I don't like it when you exclude me from everything. Everyone in the world knows about it and I'm still confused. Am I stupid? Mu Qiqi refused to be outdone. You'll tell Su Che and Tang Yan if you need anything. Even Grandpa and Dad know more than me. What am I to you? Am I still the closest person to you? Anyway, if you don't admit your mistake, I won't go back. Mu Qiqi tilted her head and fought for her own meager rights. Then why don't you want to know? I can tell anyone, but I won't tell you. Xianxia, let me tell you. If you want to hide it from me in the future, you have to hide it from me. Don't let me know anything. Otherwise, tell me everything. Don't lie to me at all. I hate perfunctory people the most. He even called out her full name. Xianxia picked her up, flipped her over, pressed her down on his legs and spanked her butt. Now the whole world knows that the arrogant Xianxia is looking for women all over the world. Aren't you proud enough? Mu Qiqi was in so much pain that tears welled up in her eyes. You only know how to be a rascal. Xianxia could hear her crying. He picked her up and straddled her. I'll tell you everything in the future, okay? Are you serious? This thing was getting more and more stubborn. But there was nothing he could do. He was the one who spoiled her. No one could blame her. Will you still run away from home in the future? Don't you have any rules? Your rules and my rules. Mu Qiqi's eyes were red and there were still tears on her eyelashes. However, there was a sense of tenacity and unwillingness to admit defeat in her sparkling eyes. In the end, Xianxia was so angry that he laughed. I raised it myself. You asked for it. Mu Qiqi was satisfied and climbed out of the man's arms. However, Xianxia did not let her. Mu Qiqi suddenly remembered what happened last night. To prevent her from getting involved in third brother's business, the man actually seduced her. Xiao, you didn't take any precautions last night at the hotel in the mountains. Should I take some medicine? No need. Aunt Wu will take care of it for you. Xingzhao's face darkened. He had been anxious last night, but he had also calculated that the chances of Mu Qiqi getting pregnant for the next few days were very low. Don't eat those messy things behind my back. Why did you seduce me if you knew that? Mu Qiqi was not convinced. I don't want you to drink too much or your stomach will be upset. Xiao leaned against the bed and explained, it turns out that that's the only way to wake you up. Mu Qiqi blushed and her anger subsided. Thank you for not knocking me out. The young couple fought at the head of the bed and reconciled at the end. Before they could do anything, they left the Shen family's house hand in hand in the middle of the night. When old Master Shen saw this, he shook his head helplessly. This girl only has so many thoughts now. When she gets older in the future, who can control her? Father, are you looking for me? Shen Jianchuan did not worry about his daughter's heart. Xingxiao had his ways. Xiao Qi would accept her fate in this lifetime. Yun, second brother, come to my study. Old Master Shen told his two sons the news that Xingxiao brought today. Second brother, do you know what to do? Second uncle Shen shook his head. Father, it's still too early for the transition. So these people don't dare to be too brazen behind my back. Isn't this brazen? Old Master Shen sighed. The Shen family feels gentle now because the other party is targeting the Sheng family and sees eighth brother as a thorn in their side. If it weren't for eighth brother's brain, he wouldn't have connected these things. Think about it. Now that the Shen family and Zhongting are relying on each other, isn't eighth brother the target of those people? Father. I suddenly thought of something. Do you still remember what happened 25 years ago? Xin Jianchuan suddenly asked Old Master Shen. When Old Master Shen heard this, his expression changed. I hope it has nothing to do with that family. After saying that, Old Master Shen reminded the two of them. You two have to calm down now, especially your eldest brother. I'm afraid you have to pay more attention to eighth brother. Your daughter and son-in-law are both yours. Spend more effort to protect them. Don't let the Xing family suffer because of us. I understand, father. Second brother, you have to pay more attention to. Once there's a suspicious candidate, tell eldest brother and eighth brother. These people will do anything for power. I understand too. Second uncle Shen nodded. His expression was solemn. It seems that Jianchuan will be in turmoil in the next few years. Late at night at Chongrong Electronics, Sheng Kai received a call from Jin Bo. Xiao Kai, Xinyu turned himself in at the police station. After all, I was the one who raised him, so I can't bear to part with him. If you have time, visit him on my behalf. It's really not convenient for me to appear. I'll go tomorrow morning, Sheng Kai answered Jin Bo respectfully. That's good. Tell him to reform well in prison. When he comes out, Godfather will value him as much as before. Wait for him to come out. Once Xinyu went in, he wouldn't come out for 7 years. After all, they had known each other for a while, so Sheng Kai agreed to visit Xinyu the next day. At the same time, Jin Bo called Qing Bin. Tomorrow, Sheng Kai will visit Sheng Kai in the detention center. Give Sheng Kai a cigarette for me. Count it as my friendship for supporting him all these years. After all, Qing Bin had been there before. Jin Bo's words meant that he wanted to get rid of Xinyu. When Sheng Kai found Qing Bin to form an alliance, the two of them were originally working for each other. However, Jin Bo had secretly communicated with Qing Bin. In the end, he still worked for Jin Bo. I'm just afraid that Sheng Kai will suspect something. He won't. If anything happens, just push the blame onto Sheng Kai. His existence was originally a scapegoat. It's just that this scapegoat was used in an unworthy place. Jin Bo sighed on the phone. Unfortunately, the Xing family won't be able to find someone like him who can be easily controlled by me. Don't worry, Mr. Jin. I will complete the mission. As long as you complete this mission, I will fulfill your wish and give you a chance to get rid of Tang Yen, Jin Bo promised over the phone. Jin Bo promised over the phone. Of course, if you can get rid of Tang Yen, then I also believe that you can get rid of Xing Xiao. This person is too much of an eyesore. I wonder what Xinyu said to him when he saw him. Chapter 8:18. That night, after Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi returned home, they showed her the complete video of what Xing Bowen had experienced in the early morning. Mu Qiqi had always seen corpses talk. She had never seen someone commit a crime so directly. It was like watching a crime movie, thrilling and exciting. You should have let me see it last night. I missed this good show for nothing. Mu Qiqi leaned into Xing Xiao's arms and complained. And during the day you didn't tell me that you went to the police station. I just wanted to see Xinyu's expression. Got it. Don't move around. Xing Xiao pressed her body against his chest when she was moving. Mu Qiqi took the opportunity to take off his shirt and touch his bronze chest. She did not hold back at all. Then can you tell me what Su Che was sent to do now? Xing Xiao's eyes were half closed and his clothes were messy. His posture looked extremely lazy, making one unable to help but feel desire. It was obvious that this man was already teased by this little thing. Xing Xiao did not move and allowed the little thing to tease him. Mu Qiqi was not much better. Her clothes were wide open and she looked extremely flirtatious. Are you going to tell me or not? Xing Xiao took the opportunity to lift Mu Qiqi's chin and kiss her fiercely. This little thing would always find trouble with him. He was the dignified CEO of Zhongting, yet he had to call all over the world just to find a woman. Where was his dignity? Mu Qiqi's lips and tongue were bitten. She was filled with unwillingness and bit back without admitting defeat. Xing Xiao pressed her down on the chaise lounge and bit her nose as he warned, "If you make me look for you everywhere in the future, don't even think about keeping your butt. I'm asking you where Su Che is." He went to J City, Xing Xiao said truthfully. He changed his posture and let the little thing rest on his arm. Investigating Bai Sini's case? You told me not to care about it, but you still went to investigate it yourself? Previously it was to help third brother, but Xinyu appeared and gave third brother some buffer time. I wanted to find clues about that person from Xinyu, but Xinyu and Xingkai's status are about the same, so there's no room for me to use. So we still found a breakthrough in Baisini's case. Mu Qiqi understood. Did Suche find anything? Also, is Suche safe? No news yet. I gave him a week's time. When the time is up, retreat immediately. Finally knowing Xing Zhao's secret, Mu Qiqi immediately flipped over and rode on him. That's right. Even if I know, I won't do anything. Why do you have to hide it? I'm the person closest to you. What can't I know? It's not as simple as you think. Xinyu won't last 3 days in prison. The lust in Xing Zhao's eyes faded, and there was a hint of warning in them. He thought that he was hiding the final secret and could threaten the other party, but the other party would not give him the chance to speak at all. He only dragged me down with him. The truth will eventually come to light. Mu Qiqi hugged Xing Zhao's neck a little tighter because she heard him say that he was dragged into the water. Don't worry. Even if Xinyu didn't drag me, I'm still in the water. The Xin family and the Xing family are both in the water. Mu Qiqi nodded and suddenly let go of her hands. Xing Xiao thought that she was tired and wanted to let her take a shower, but unexpectedly she took a few steps back and suddenly lowered her head to unbutton Xing Zhao's pants. Xing Xiao felt his mind buzz and suddenly explode. He had told her before that there was no need to do this. He did not need her to do this. However, Mu Qiqi was not affected by him at all. She looked up and saw the man's face flushed. It was a scene she had never seen before, and she suddenly smiled. Your entire body is mine. Why can't I touch any part of you? I want to dote on you too. Where did you learn that? Xing Xiao gritted his teeth. He could not stand such an exciting scene. He just wanted to grab her onto the bed and teach her a lesson for the entire night. Of course, I'll learn it on my own when facing the person I love. Mu Qiqi was afraid that he would resist, so she became even more emotional. In fact, she had already convinced Xing Xiao. Which man could reject the woman he loved and risk her life for him? That kind of pride instantly filled his chest, and no one would be able to refuse it. Mu Qiqi never felt that there was anything to avoid. She also had things she wanted to do for her man. Seeing the man lose control, she was also proud, as if she had unlocked something amazing. It turned out that this man was not always so domineering in bed. It's blistered. After it was done, Mu Qiqi sat on the bed and moved her cheeks. Xing Xiao directly hooked his arms around her neck and kissed her deeply. Little one, you're killing me. After saying that, Xing Xiao carried Mu Qiqi and got up. He threw her onto the bed and pressed his long body on top of her. Don't even think about getting out of bed tonight. She did not intend to get out of bed anyway. This man. Of course, what happened next was naturally a charming night of endless spring. The next morning, Feng Xianxian called early in the morning and asked Mu Qiqi, "Where did you go last night? Your big CO has already called Tang Yan's phone." I went back to my parents' house. Mu Qiqi propped herself up from the bed and answered. You're really capable, but don't be too pretentious. Screw you. I know what I'm doing. Mu Qiqi scratched her hair and said, Take good care of my godson. I'll come over to see you tonight. I'll wait for you. Feng Xianxian was concerned. Mu Qiqi got up, but the soreness in her legs reminded her how crazy the man last night was. Most importantly, he was still missing early in the morning. Mu Qiqi went to the bathroom sadly and saw the marks all over her body. The weather was getting hotter. If she continued to be so crazy, she might not be able to hide it in the future. However, it was rare to see that man lose control. It was worth it. Xing Xiao was still downstairs listening to Mama Xing's nagging. You're a man. Don't make Xiao Qi angry anymore. This place is only a few steps away from the Shen family. Let's see what you'll say when old Master Shen comes looking for you in the future. Xing Xiao did not say anything. He read the newspaper and looked as calm as usual. Mommy, don't blame him. I was the one who lost my temper. Mu Qiqi came down from upstairs and sat beside Xing Xiao. I should have told you before I went out. I made you and Dad worry. I don't care. Eighth brother, if Xiao Qi gets angry again in the future, you'll have to move out. Xing Xiao turned to look at Mu Qiqi. His meaning was self-evident. You're the Xing family's biological child now. Mu Qiqi could not help but giggle. On the other side, Xing Kai and Qing Bin had already arrived at the entrance of the police station. Lord Jin said that you're his godson, so you should visit Xinyu on his behalf. These cigarettes and American wine are what Xinyu likes. Lord Jin asked me to prepare some. Bring them in for him. Qingbin handed the things to Xingkai. Chapter 8:19. Xingkai requested to see Xinyu, but he was not related to him, nor was he Xinyu's guardian. The police did not allow it at all. Xinyu has no relatives in this world. I'm the only friend he knows. If you don't let me see him, that's fine. This is a gift I prepared for him. After you check it, bring it to him for me, okay? These are all illegal items. You can't bring them in. The police stopped him. But I'll tell him that you were here. Xingkai had no choice but to return the way he came. Qingbin saw that he did not give him anything, so he asked, "What's going on?" Those who aren't relatives don't have the right to see them. Moreover, the police station doesn't pass on these, saying it's against the rules. Qingbin frowned and did not say anything. After a while he said to Xingkai, "Then let's go back. We've done our best." Xinyu learned from the police that Xingkai had been there. He squatted on the ground and sneered. This person could not do anything right, but he was good at spoiling things. He must have been used by Jinbo again. However, he could not be the lethal blade that Jinbo wanted. Thinking of this, Xinyu laughed loudly. Useless people were useless no matter what they did. However, before he could be complacent enough, he felt dizzy and his limbs were weak. Not long after, he fell to the ground, his body twitching. Everything was as Xianxia had expected. Xinyu could not survive more than 3 days in prison. Xinyu was dead. Hearing this news, Xingkai felt a chill rush from the soles of his feet to the top of his head and into his brain. Jinbo did not let Xinyu live. The fact that he didn't send the things in should have nothing to do with him, right? Xingkai's hands couldn't help but tremble. He called Qingbin. After Qingbin received the news, he was much calmer than Xingkai. Xinyu had betrayed Jinbo, so his ending would definitely not be good. This was the rule, so there was nothing to say. However, this was a human life. Xingkai had never felt it so directly. A person had died just like that. Therefore he couldn't calm down for a long time. When Qingbin saw this, he patted him on the shoulder. "Xing, don't think too much. We don't even know how Xinyu died. It has nothing to do with you. I only want power. I don't want to taint human lives. But in this world, where can I find such a good thing? However, Xinyu has nothing to do with you. You didn't kill him, nor did he die because of you. What are you afraid of?" Qingbin comforted Xingkai. "All right, Mr. Jin wouldn't do this to his godson. Otherwise he wouldn't have given Changrong to you. Don't you think so?" Xingkai did not say anything, but no matter how stupid he was, he would not be stupid enough to believe Qingbin's words. Qingbin had never been on the same side as him. What Qingbin wanted was a chance to take revenge. In order to take revenge, he would do anything, even at the cost of his life. "President Xing, you're already a part of the game. Don't even think about escaping. You're Mr. Jin's godson. Don't let him down." Xingkai couldn't take it anymore and rushed out of Changrong. He had nowhere else to go, so he went to Gu Ziling's grandfather's house. However, from the moment he entered the door, he rushed toward Grandpa Gu's study aggressively. Grandpa Gu was reading some documents. When he saw Xingkai coming back, he immediately frowned. "Don't you know how to knock?" "It was you." Xingkai went forward and grabbed the old man's collar. "You were the one who introduced me to Jinbo. You were the one who made me Jinbo's godson. So what if I was? Didn't you get Changrong from your godfather? My life is almost gone. Why would I care about Changrong?" Xingkai shouted. "Do you know what they're doing? You're my grandson-in-law. Why would I harm you?" After hearing the Gu family's words, Xingkai laughed out loud. "Why would you harm me? When did the Gu family ever think highly of me? Gu Ziling, her mother, and you have never treated me as a human being. You recognized me as a godfather and even put the blade on my neck. Is this what you mean by not harming me?" "Xingkai, are you crazy?" Gu Ziling rushed home. When she saw this scene, she quickly went forward. However, Xingkai pushed her away. "I'm crazy? Ask your good grandfather what Jinbo does for a living. I told you before, but you didn't listen." Gu Ziling stood in front of Xingkai. "Why don't you ask yourself if you want to make a comeback all day long? Isn't it all because of you? You keep telling me that I'm useless and incompetent every day. You're incompetent and you're impotent." Gu Ziling was exasperated. But when she said that, Xingkai went crazy. "Gu Ziling, I'm not wrong. You don't have to look at me like that. Sheng Kai took 2 steps back and pointed at Gu Xiling. I'll definitely make you kneel down and beg me. Beg me to let you and your family go. With that, Sheng Kai turned around and left. His dignity as a man had been completely trampled on by Gu Xiling. Just wait and see. He wouldn't be so useless forever. Xing Xiao also received the news of Xing Yu's death. He didn't know if Su Che had made any new breakthroughs. At the same time, he was worried about the safety of Su Che and the others. How far were these people going to go? Who else were their targets? When Xing Bowen heard about this, he immediately went to Zhongting to ask Xing Xiao for confirmation. Xing Xiao didn't hide it from him, and his tone had never been so solemn. We haven't figured out who's behind this. So, take good care of the Xing family during this period of time, especially the old man's health. Xing Bowen put on a serious expression. Seeing that Xing Xiao was serious, he didn't dare to be negligent. I'll be careful. It's just that when I think about how there's a traitor in the family, I feel uncomfortable. That's the path he chose. After Xing Xiao said that, he returned Xing Bowen's asset certificates to him. Don't give them to Chi'er in the future. If there's a next time, I won't return them. Then don't return them. 8th brother, help me supervise the funds. Xing Xiao raised his head and glared at him. Was this person not done yet? Did you call Xiaoqi yesterday and have a conflict? Do you think you're too free? Huang Yao. I'm afraid of you. Xing Bowen quickly took back his things. He was afraid that Xing Xiao would ask him to go back and be the CEO again. Now that Huang Yao was under Xing Xiao's nose, he didn't want to throw it to him to be ruined. Perhaps he was afraid that Xing Xiao would be serious, so Xing Bowen tactfully left Zhongting. This person really couldn't take a joke. He wasn't cute at all. There were still 2 days before the agreed time between Xing Xiao and Su Che. However, in the middle of the night, Xing Xiao was woken up by Su Che's phone call. Here, there's a breakthrough. The photo has been sent to your phone. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Is it safe? It's safe. Set off now and come back immediately. Xing Xiao reminded him. Or I'll send someone to pick you up immediately. I'm just a little injured. It's not a big deal. Don't make such a big commotion. It'll arouse suspicion. If there's a problem, call for help at any time. Chapter 8:20. There were only 3 photos in total. It could be seen that it was extremely difficult to take them. One of them was a photo of Su Hong wearing a cheongsam and holding a tray. The other 2 were the side profiles of a young woman and a middle-aged man. Xing Xiao did not understand, so he sent the photos to Tang Yan. It seemed that this mystery could only be solved when Su Che returned. However, Su Hong discovered that a stranger had barged into the hotel, so she chased after him everywhere and sent the news to Jin Bo. Jin Bo knew that someone was secretly investigating. Other than Tang Yan and a few others who were in the way, there was no one else. He had wanted to wait a few days before sending Qing Bin on stage, but since the police were so nosy, he could only shut them up forever. The next morning, Su Che returned from J City and arranged for the other 2 informants. However, because of his injuries, Su Che's face looked a little pale. Xing Xiao was bandaging his wound in Zhongting's office. He frowned and his expression was stern. What exactly are these photos? A party, a dirty party. I don't know how it was organized, who initiated it, or how the cycle was arranged. These people were all accompanied by young girls. I think the previous cases of Chongrong Electronics were all related to this. 2 informants knew how to cook and mixed in with the cooks. That's why they had the chance to get close to the private room on the rooftop. It was too difficult to take photos. These are the only 3 photos they took. We should be able to confirm the identity of the man in the photo, but the 3 of us might have been discovered by the other party. Don't let anyone know that you're injured. Xing Xiao pressed on his wound. You haven't been to J City either. You just went home to visit your family. I understand, Su Che replied through gritted teeth. How does the CEO plan to deal with this matter? If he followed the man's vines, he would be able to touch the melon. However, if what Su Che said was true, then he had to be on high alert during this period of time, especially the people from the Jianchuan branch. Especially Tang Yan. Originally, Qing Bin could be used at any time in the other party's camp. It just depended on when the other party wanted to use this card. After Tang Yan received the photo, he asked the technical analyst to secretly check the identity of the man in the photo. The analyst was a little shocked when he saw the result. He did not dare to make a sound, but quietly went to Tang Yan's office and told him the result. After Tang Yan heard that, his brows deepened. He only said to the analyst, "For your own safety, don't tell anyone." "I know, but Captain Tang, where did this photo come from? Now that things have come to this, the police force in our bureau is not enough to investigate. I will ask the higher-ups. You have to take care of this matter. Don't mention it to anyone, understand?" "I understand. I'll forget about it." The analyst left Tang Yan's office in fear. Tang Yan took the documents and went straight to the chief's office without hesitation. He handed the documents to him. After the director saw it, his face suddenly changed. He pointed at the photo and the information and asked, "Where did you get this? You are not allowed to investigate this case anymore, do you hear me? Tang Yan, you are just a criminal police officer. You have to know your own identity. I will hand this over to the special forces. For such a big case, none of us can bear the consequences. Chief, don't worry. I'll forget about it after I walk out of this door." After listening to Tang Yan's words, the director was relieved and his expression softened. "Tang Yan, I'm doing this for your own good. Your little wife is pregnant now. Take good care of her. Don't work so hard." "I know. Don't worry. Someone will pull in the net for these big fish. You have to be careful." Such a seemingly simple case involved a lot of things. Tang Yan knew very well that unless he caught the last big fish in by Sunny's case, this case would never be cleared. Of course, that was not something that a criminal police officer like him could do. The higher-ups would make their own decisions. "Chief, I know what I'm doing. If you know what you're doing, then go out. Originally, there was a case that needed your help, but I saw that you have a family to take care of, so I let someone else go. We'll talk about it when your wife's pregnancy stabilizes." Tang Yan was very grateful to the director for this. Moreover, he also understood that there were some things that even the director could not do anything about. After that, Tang Yan left the police station. He wanted to drive the black jeep to Zhongting, but he could not be so ostentatious. Hence he arranged a time to meet Xianxia on the phone. In the evening, Xianxia got off work early and brought Su Che to Tang Yan's courtyard. The two men looked at each other and were equally calm. Tang Yan brewed tea for Xianxia. Then he handed a copy of the information to Xianxia. "After you read it, burn it. Looks like it really has something to do with the change in office in a few years." After Xianxia found out the identity of that person, he took the lighter from Tang Yan's hand and destroyed the information in front of him. "From today onwards, forget about this matter." Tang Yan's tone was heavy, and his sharp face was filled with sharpness. "Whether it's me or you, I'm just a businessman. I only know how to do business. Since there are still a few years, the other party won't touch me for the time being. But you're different." Whether it was Qing Bin or his identity as a criminal police officer to the other party, he had a reason to get rid of him. "But what should I do? I'm just a criminal police officer." Tang Yan's response was almost sarcastic. "Before I got married, I was all alone. I would play with Qing Bin to the end, but as you can see, I have a wife and child now. I don't want her to live in fear, and I don't want her to get involved in danger. My soul belongs to the country. My body is not my own, but my heart can only belong to her. Retreat to the second line. The police academy suits you," Xianxia suggested. Tang Yan shook his head and refused to hide. "I won't retreat. The more I hide, the more confident he will be. Maybe we can set up a trap." When Tang Yan heard these words, his hands could not help but tremble. Sheng Bowen had fought a beautiful battle before, which gave him confidence and motivation. However, Qing Bin was not Xinyu. Qing Bin was experienced and good at disguising himself. He was not easy to deal with. However, Xing Zhao's suggestion made Tang Yan extremely tempted. Wait for the right time. What will come soon. The two men looked at each other. They had already reached a tacit understanding. Mu Qiqi arrived home at 1 o'clock. When she saw that Su Che was still in Xing Zhao's study, she greeted him in surprise. "Su Che, you're back." Su Che was stunned for a moment. He was not used to Mu Qiqi's enthusiasm. I came back in the morning." Chapter 8:21. Su Che went over and gained something, didn't he? Xing Xiao looked at her wet ink head. She didn't know how to dry it, so he put down the document, held her hand and returned to the bedroom. "Sit down." Mu Qiqi enjoyed this kind of pampering. She half closed her eyes and took a long time before she heard the voice above her head. It's the Xin family's opponent who's stirring up trouble behind our backs. That's why they see us as a thorn in their side. From tonight onwards, you have to forget about Bai Sini's case because it's not a big fish that we can catch. Since there's still time, the other party won't act rashly for the time being. It's just that Tang Yan will be in more danger. The other party is afraid that Tang Yan will continue to investigate, and it's also because of Qing Bin. Mu Qiqi understood immediately and stopped smiling mischievously. You told me not to pay attention to it. Of course I'll listen to you, but what about Captain Tang and Feng Xianxia? If there's any progress, I'll set up a trap with Tang Yan. So no matter what I do in the future, don't ask. After it's over, I'll give you a complete answer. Wasn't that respectful enough? Mu Qiqi nodded. You just need to let me know that there's this matter. I won't ask about the details. This isn't an occasion for me to watch a show. It was related to the safety of her two friends. You're sensible. Xianxia dried her hair and used his slender fingers to run through her hair. The fragrance wafted into his nose. It smelled very good. But you have to promise me that you'll protect them. Do you really think of me as a god? Xianxia put down the hairdryer and stared at the little one's head. However, before he could get up, Mu Qiqi hugged him. I don't care if you're a god or not. I just believe in you. I still have to go to the Xin family later. Go to bed early. Got it. Mu Qiqi nodded to reassure him. There was no one left in the Xing family to discuss, but the Xin family did. Fortunately, the Xin family still had grandfather and father. This way at least Xiao would have less to bear. Late at night, Xianxia went to the Xin family. Grandpa Xin looked at the photo with his presbyopic glasses. He snorted and said, "A bunch of trash. They don't do proper things and only go to dishonest ways. But in fact, it's meaningless. My Xin family selflessly serves the public for the sake of the people. It's just that I've implicated you, the younger generation. It makes me feel uneasy. Xianxia, don't worry. Your father-in-law has already decided to leave the mountain. Let him handle some of the things that you can't do. There's no need to go so far." Xingzhao's intention in coming here was nothing more than to remind the Xin family to be on their guard and prepare for a rainy day. For him, the most important thing was the safety of his family. You have to protect Xiaoqi. She is your favorite and will easily become a target for others. Moreover, she is the daughter of the Xin family. I know the weight of this matter. Grandpa Xin looked at Xingxiao. This man was mature and steady. There was nothing for him to worry about. Although Xiaoqi was a little mischievous, she would never lose to a man in front of a big problem. So, Grandpa Xin believed that no matter how big the problem was, it would not be a problem for this young couple. Now that the enemy was in the dark and they were out in the open, they had to be careful in order to survive. Jin Bo's men searched the entire J city but could not find the informants. Stupid police. I didn't expect the hotel to be so heavily guarded, but we still couldn't stop these cops. How disgusting, Su Hong told Jin Bo over the phone. Sir, what should we do now? The situation has been tense recently. Restrain yourself and don't give the other party any more chances. As for the police, I'll think of a way to deal with them, Jin Bo calmly comforted her. Don't tell anyone that the hotel has been breached by the police. Those people are timid and can't withstand the shock. I understand. Deal with Bai Sini's mother. Don't kill her. She's in the wind now, so be careful. As for the rest, when Qingbin was ready, Tang Yan would leave it to Qingbin to deal with. Of course, Qingbin alone was definitely not enough. He had to find a helper for Qingbin. After Xinyu died, Qingbin put life and death aside because he knew that if he wanted to achieve his goal, he would have to pay the price. He was not as naive as Shun Kai. 3 days later, Qingbin received a call from Jin Bo. I've arranged for a helper for you. He'll be here tomorrow. Thank you, Master Jin. Deal with Tang Yan well. I'll wait for your good news. Qingbin only hoped that the person Jin Bo sent was not someone like Xinyu. In a real sense, it would be of help to him. Therefore, the next day he went to the airport to pick up the person. He held a sign in his hand. He thought that it would be a man, but when he picked up the person, he realized that it was a tall beauty wearing sunglasses. I'm Song Qiaoji, a doctor. I have my own arrangements in Jianchuan. You don't have to pick me up. Keep in touch by phone. It's best if we don't meet at other times because you're so ugly. The other party did not care about Qingbin's welcome. She dragged her suitcase and quickly left Qingbin's line of sight in her fashionable high heels. Qingbin did not know what use a woman had for him. Wasn't she even inferior to Xinyu? Qingbin was very confused about this, so he called Jin Bo, Master Jin. What's the use of sending a woman to me? Don't underestimate her. You'll know soon enough. Jin Bo did not explain too much and his tone was rather mysterious. Qingbin was still unconvinced. If the help that Master Jin wanted to give him was just a woman, he would rather do it himself. Perhaps she knew that he would not be convinced, so after Song Qiaoji settled down, she sent a message to Qingbin. Shallow man. I heard that Tang Yan's woman is pregnant and I'm an obstetrician. Did such a reminder need to be more explicit? There was no need. Qingbin suddenly understood Jin Bo's intentions. It was useless to deal with men, especially men like Tang Yan who were strong in one-on-one combat. His weakness was the same as Xing Zhao's. They were both women. Especially pregnant women. As long as he had Feng Xianxia in his hands, wouldn't Tang Yan be at his mercy? He only needed to wait for Song Qiaoji's signal and wait for the opportunity to make a move. After the incident with Xinyu, peace seemed to have returned to the surroundings. The case of Xing Bowen's escape was taken over by the Xing family's lawyer and would be heard in court a month later. As long as no one interfered, Xing Bowen had a high chance of being innocent. On the other side, they had originally agreed that this was a gift for Xing Kai, but now that Xing Kai and Jin Bo had fallen out like this and Jin Bo had lost Xinyu, of course he could not sacrifice more for Xing Kai. Xing Kai knew his current situation. He was unwilling, but at the same time he did not want to be used by Jin Bo and die a graveless death in the end. Chapter 8:22. It was at this critical moment that Xing Kai received a message. It was a message that made his eyes widen in disbelief. Time flew by. Ever since that day when Xing Xiao asked her to forget about it, Mu Qiqi never mentioned it again. Life returned to normal. Mu Qiqi took some time to go to the hospital to see old Cheng. Seeing that he was recovering well, she was relieved. Usually when Captain Tang comes to see me, I ask about the progress of the case. It's been so long. How's the investigation going? Old Cheng covered his wound and asked Mu Qiqi. Don't tell me that I've suffered this injury for nothing? Mu Qiqi took a deep breath and leaned against the side of the bed. She didn't know where to start. She just said, the director has already ordered a ban on investigating this matter. No one is allowed to mention it again. It's the same when you return to the team. What's going on? Old Ching looked unconvinced. Haven't we found something? It's precisely because we've found something that we can't continue. Mu Qiqi looked at him seriously and said, trust Captain Tang's arrangements. Rest well. Old Ching understood something, but he was unconvinced. I suffered this injury for nothing. Maybe the case will be solved one day. After Mu Qiqi said that, she took out 2 books from her bag. I was afraid that you would be bored in the hospital, so I left these for you to pass the time. Old Ching knew that he couldn't continue investigating the case and was a little disappointed. Leave it. I'll look at it when I have time. Mu Qiqi did not force him. She walked out of Old Cheng's ward alone. He finally understood a truth. In this world, there were many things that could not be answered, nor could they be justified. The next day was the weekend. Mu Qiqi was supposed to go to Sonda class, but because Tang Yan was called away by the chief, Feng Xianxia asked her to accompany him for the prenatal checkup. Of course, Mu Qiqi was duty-bound to help her godson. However, when she saw that Feng Xianxia had a mother at the age of 22, and she had to wait until she was 24, she felt speechless. Seeing that she was depressed, Feng Xianxia smiled. Are you so unwilling to accompany me for a prenatal checkup? I'm just lamenting that I won't be able to get pregnant when your son is already a nobody. Your big CEO is doing this for your own good. Don't be insensible. Feng Xianxia educated her. It was an accident. I had no choice. Otherwise, do you think I wanted to get pregnant at this time? Although Tang Yan usually did not talk about Qingbin in front of Feng Xianxia, there were several nights when she could feel Tang Yan calling and getting up behind her back. Sometimes he would even stay up late. She was indeed drowsy, but she was not unconscious. You're a national treasure now. You're precious. Mu Qiqi reached out and stroked her belly. She could feel the miracle of life. The two of them chatted as they arrived at the entrance of the ultrasound room. Soon Feng Xianxian was done with the examination and took the report to the doctor's office. Feng Xianxian sat down and found that the other party was unfamiliar. Seeing the wary look in Feng Xianxian's eyes, she explained with a smile, "I'm the director of obstetrics and gynecology who has just been appointed. My surname is Song." "The previous Dr. Li," she resigned. Song Xiaoji explained, "If you feel worried about me, I'll arrange someone else for you." "Don't." Dr. Song saved a mother and child who had a difficult birth yesterday. His medical skills are very good. The doctor's assistant whispered to her, "This is the military doctor from the army. Miss Feng, you mustn't miss him." Feng Xianxian gradually relaxed and nodded. "Thank you, Dr. Song. Look at the report. There's no big problem. He's a little anemic. Come over more frequently." Song Xiaoji pinched Feng Xianxian's arm and said, "Can you also eat some nuts on a daily basis? If there's anything, you can call me. Save my number." Mu Qiqi carefully sized up the fashionable blonde female doctor. She could tell that she was very confident in her medical skills. Moreover, her attitude was gentle. She was probably very popular in the hospital. Why isn't Dr. Song a military doctor anymore? Mu Qiqi sat at the side, a little gossipy. Song Qiaoji smiled and winked at her. "I traveled the world for love, but unfortunately I still broke up with that scumbag in the end. I couldn't return to the army, so I went to serve in an ordinary hospital. Actually, there's no difference. Dr. Song is so humorous. If you have gynecological problems or if you don't get along with a guy, you can also come to me," Song Qiaoji whispered to Mu Qiqi. Her personality was very much to Mu Qiqi's liking. She was generous and direct, and she didn't beat around the bush. However, this was a critical period and Song Qiaoji had suddenly taken up the post. This made Mu Qiqi a little wary. "Then I'll thank you in advance, Dr. Song. Xianxian, the prenatal checkup is over. Let's go." Feng Xianxian took the report and stood up with her help. However, just as she reached the door, Tang Yan chased after her and took Feng Xianxian from Mu Qiqi's hands. "I'm late. It's already done. Actually, you didn't have to come." Feng Xianxian didn't blame him. "If possible, I want to be by your side as much as possible." Mu Qiqi walked behind the two of them and felt like she had been fed a mouthful of dog food. "Who wanted to see you two get tired of each other?" However, right behind the three of them, a fiery gaze landed on them. They were really happy now, but in the future it would be really tragic. After Qingbin knew that Feng Xianxian had gone to Song Qiaoji's place for a prenatal checkup, he urged her to find an opportunity to make a move. Song Qiaoji crossed her arms. She didn't want to talk to this man at all. He had just put the bait in and he couldn't wait to reel it in? No one else was that stupid, especially Mu Qiqi. Song Qiaoji could feel that this girl was young, in her early 20s, but her eyes were very sharp. From the initial enthusiasm to the sudden calmness in the end, all of this told Song Qiaoji that this girl was observing her. "You have to give me a deadline, right? Are you going to make me wait endlessly like this?" "It's not impossible," Song Qiaoji replied over the phone. Song Qiaoji replied over the phone, "Father asked me to complete the mission not just to assist you. You just want revenge, but I don't have a deep grudge against them." "Father, you're Mr. Jin's daughter? This is not a topic worth discussing." Song Qiaoji quickly changed the topic. "In short, I'll contact you if there's any news. Before that, you have to stay calm. Otherwise, the plan will fail and all your efforts will be for naught. You can talk to my father yourself." She was also a young lady who was difficult to please. Qingbin snorted. However, a few years had passed. Why would he be afraid of waiting for a few more months? Song Qiaoji was not like Xinyu, who was just an adopted son. She was Jin Bo's biological daughter, but she was his biological daughter. In the past, when Jin Bo asked her for missions, they were all extremely vicious people. But this time he asked her to deal with a young pregnant woman in her early 20s. Chapter 8:23. On the way home, Feng Xianxian saw that Mu Qiqi was deep in thought and poked her arm. "Why do you think everyone is a bad person? Do you have to be so paranoid?" "I don't think there's anything wrong with Dr. Song. I just think it's a coincidence that she appeared at this time. Captain Tang handed him over to me. Of course, I have to keep a close eye on him. Do you think danger is coming? Is it a joke?" Little Seventh is right. He drove with his left hand and held Feng Xianxian's left hand with his right. Even though it was only for a while, he was reluctant to let go. You two are like old mates now. You're always talking nonsense. Feng Xianxian complained, but her heart was warm. Mu Qiqi knew that she didn't mean what she said, so she just glared at her. She didn't want to be an old maid either, but Feng Xianxian was alone. No, Feng Xianxian actually had parents, but they had remarried. They had known each other for so long, but Mu Qiqi had never heard her mention her parents. She said that she had no feelings for them, and she had even compromised with a scumbag a few times just for a photo with her parents. But she had feelings. She had already married Tang Yan and had a child, but she did not mention her parents at all. At that thought, Mu Qiqi could not help but take a few more glances at Feng Xianxian. Tang Yan was busy every day and she was in class. Feng Xianxian was alone at home most of the time. Loneliness was a small matter, but he was afraid that she would encounter something suddenly and not even have someone to ask for help. Mu Qiqi wanted to mention it, but she felt that it was not appropriate to ask about their family matters. This was something that Tang Yan should worry about. As a friend, she had her own boundaries. After returning home, Mu Qiqi saw that fifth aunt had cooked nourishing chicken soup, so she asked her if pregnant women could take it. Fifth aunt smiled and explained the effects to her. She immediately packed a bowl for Feng Xianxian. Then fifth aunt sent the chicken soup to Tang Yan's house. Feng Xianxian was very emotional when she saw it. Miss Feng, if there's any soup you'd like to drink, just give me a call. When I make it for Miss Qiqi, I'll make a bowl for you too. Thank you, fifth aunt. Although it was just a bowl of chicken soup, Feng Xianxian felt very upset. Miss Qiqi cares about you. Feng Xianxian looked at the bowl of chicken soup. It would be a lie to say that she was not envious. When a person was pregnant, it was inevitable for their imagination to run wild. He squatted beside her and said, "When you married me, you knew about my situation. I only have one uncle. My family is small and I don't seem to have any elders who can take care of you. When we registered, I asked you if you needed to inform your parents. At that time you didn't seem to care and I didn't insist. But I think I did something wrong." Although Feng Xianxian had been separated from her family for many years, it was not that she had not thought about it. When her parents remarried, she left them with hatred. She never thought that she would meet her parents again. However, now that she was about to become a mother, she also hoped that there would be someone around her who would care about her and care for her. This was something that Tang Yan and Mu Qiqi could not make up for. "If you want, I can accompany you back to find them. Aren't you busy with work? Is there no case in the station? The chief has recently assigned all the important cases to me because he knows about my situation. There was only one person at home. If anything happened to Feng Xianxian and the child, then Tang Yan would be destroyed." "Then let me think about it." This time Feng Xianxian did not resist. She still had hope in her heart. "There's no hurry." Tang Yan held Feng Xianxian's hand and was extremely gentle. Late at night, Banyan Courtyard. Ever since Huang Yao merged with Zhongting, Xianxia returned home a little later. In the past he could enter the house at 7 o'clock on time. Now at 8:30 he was nowhere to be seen. After Mu Qiqi washed up, she sat in the study and looked at the 100 little things after pregnancy. Before Feng Xianxian went to bed, she called her. "Today Tang Yan suggested that we go find my parents. I'm afraid they'll be disappointed." Mu Qiqi understood her. When she was young and impetuous. She ran out and did not interact with her parents. Now that she ran back rashly, she would only disturb other people's families. "Your eyes are too sharp. I can't make this decision. Although my eyes and heart are filled with that stinky man, I can't leave my family. I feel that family can bring me joy and make me feel that living in this world is very warm and stable. You and Tang Yan are too lonely. Even if the child is born, it's only a family of 3. It's too weak. Of course, if you try in the end and find that your parents are heartless people, you can give up. I don't mind letting my father take in a goddaughter." Feng Xianxian's heart warmed when she heard this. "I understand. If you understand, then go to bed early. Don't tire my godson out." Feng Xianxian felt at ease and put down her phone. Seeing that Tang Yan was lying on the big bed, she whispered in his ear, "When you have time, accompany me to find my parents." Tang Yan was surprised for 2 seconds before he calmed down and nodded. Sometimes he was very jealous of Mu Qiqi's position in Feng Xianxian's heart. Even as her husband, he could not compare to her. Only Feng Xianxian knew that it was different. Half an hour later, Xianxia pushed open the door of the study. When he saw the little thing crossing her legs leisurely, he frowned. "You're not like a woman at all. Tisk, you're lecturing me as soon as you come back." Muqiqi put down the book in her hand and moved a seat for her man. "Now you only come home at 8:30 every day. Xing, all the ants in the world have been trampled to death by you." Xianxia sat down beside Muqiqi and leaned over her. "If you don't beat me for 3 days, you'll tear the tiles off the roof. That's what I'm talking about." Muqiqi's eyes sparkled non-stop. Her arm around the man's neck was also very strong. "Then why don't you hit me?" Xianxia tilted his head and saw that Muqiqi was looking at those strange things again. He hooked her chin and asked, "Haven't you given up yet?" "What?" Muqiqi frowned and reacted after a moment. "I'm reading it for Feng Xianxian. Who wants to give birth to your child? Are you so resistant? I can't even read." After saying that, Muqiqi pushed Xianxia away and went back to the bedroom angrily. This thing's temper was getting worse. Now Jianchuan seemed calm on the surface, but there were undercurrents surging in the dark. At least he still wanted this thing to live comfortably for the next few years. It was not that Muqiqi did not understand Xingzhao's thoughts. It was just that he was too paranoid. It was just reading a book. Why did he have such a big reaction? A moment later, Xingzhao returned to the room. Seeing that the little thing's back was facing him, he did not go up to coax her. He waited until she was done washing up and lying on the bed before turning her over. "You know that I dote on you and spoil you, but now you're getting more and more lawless?" Chapter 8:24. Mama Bai is dead. Xingzhao supported his arm and told Muqiqi. When Muqiqi heard this, she suddenly became serious. When did this happen? How did she die? She knew that the Mama Bai that Xingzhao was talking about was Bai Sini's mother, although she deserved it. The body found in the morning was said to have died of illness, but it should have been revenge. Good. Bai Sini's grievances are finally lessened. Muqiqi was a little flustered. "We agreed not to talk about this anymore, but are you still investigating?" Su Che's informant just happened to get the news. With that, Xingzhao changed into a comfortable position and hugged Muqiqi in his arms. "If you don't want me to worry, then be obedient. Everyone knows that you're my favorite. Everyone also knows that you're the daughter of the Shen family." Muqiqi remained silent. In order to seize power, that group of people can die without a burial ground. But if you're injured, who will compensate me for a small thing? I have to be careful to protect my own things. Otherwise, who can be like me? Care about you as much as I do? Muqiqi understood the second half of his sentence, and her eyes suddenly turned red. "Did you drink?" Because her Xingzhao rarely said such things to her directly, it made her heart ache. No matter how strong he appeared on the surface, he would still be afraid. "Then hide me at home. I'm not going anywhere." Muqiqi might not have thought that such a sentence would come true one day. Xingzhao turned over and pressed Muqiqi under his body. His lips also covered hers, carrying a trace of the fragrance and sweetness of red wine. He had indeed drunk. Muqiqi did not want to push him away. She closed her eyes and enjoyed the entanglement of their lips and teeth. Gradually, her heart was moved and her desire was aroused. Fifth Aunt knew a lot about diet, so Muqiqi's body was nurtured very well. Xingzhao gradually realized that this thing's skin was fair and elastic. Felt very good to the touch. And the parts that should be firm did not disappoint him. He squeezed hard, but he could not fully grasp them. He continued downward. Her waist was slender and did not have a trace of fat. That was also thanks to the effect of sonda and the outline of the waistline. The flaming palm kept burning Muqiqi's mind. For some reason, Muqiqi felt as if she had been bewitched. The two of them had been playing the flute almost every single day, but there had never been a time like tonight, when they were so mesmerized that they couldn't extricate themselves from it. "Xiao Xiao." Xingzhao gently pushed away the obstruction and the two of them joined together. Muqiqi sighed in satisfaction. Soon she lost control of the man's crazy rhythm. After the tide fell, Muqiqi lay on Xingzhao's body and panted. She could not calm down for a long time. That was because this man would always spoil her and let her have her way when they were together. He always made her feel comfortable and looked down on her age. But today was different. She felt that he treated her as a real woman without any age boundaries. You've grown up, Xianxia suddenly said after a while. Mu Qiqi reacted for a moment and looked down at her chest. Her face turned even redder. Is that a pun? Xianxia chuckled and got up to carry her into the bathroom. But no matter how old you get, you're still that 17-year-old little thing in my heart. I'll be a mature woman sooner or later. Mu Qiqi puffed out her chest. Your mind has yet to be tested, but your figure has to be tested first. Xianxia felt that he should double Fifth Aunt's salary. His earlier decision was also very correct. This little thing's face was rosy every day. It was obvious that she had been nourished well. Mu Qiqi sat on the sink and did not say anything. After a while she suddenly hugged Xingzhao's neck. I'll be safe and stay by your side until you're 80 years old. Didn't you say that? I was the one who dragged you into hell. No matter where I am, I can't leave you alone. Xingzhao hugged her and felt a little more at ease. The world was big and he had a lot, but the only thing he really cared about was this little thing in his arms. Whoever moved would take his life. The next day Tang Yan packed some clothes and applied for leave from the station. He prepared to bring Feng Xianxian to look for her parents. Feng Xianxian was very nervous, but Mu Qiqi was right. No matter what, she was still the same as now with Tang Yan's family of 3. However, it had been too long since they last contacted each other. Feng Xianxian did not know how the two of them were doing. She only had the address when they parted. Tang Yan drove and brought Feng Xianxian to the dilapidated neighborhood. However, the Feng family had already been sold and the new family gave Feng Xianxian a new phone number. It was Papa Feng's. Feng Xianxian held it in her hand and felt that it was a little hot. Seeing that she was not moving, Tang Yan took the note from her hand. I'll make the call. I'll make the call myself. Feng Xianxian snatched it and accepted her fate as she pressed a series of numbers. The phone beeped a few times before it was finally connected. A familiar voice was heard. Oh. Feng Xianxian said to the other party, her body tense. The other party was silent for a while as if he did not know what to say. After a long time he said to Feng Xianxian, let's meet. I'll send a car to pick you up. Tell me the address. My husband and I will come over ourselves. Feng Xianxian rejected the other party's suggestion. All right. With that, the other party gave her the address. Feng Xianxian entered Tang Yan's phone and asked him to follow the navigation. Tang Yan took the phone and patted Feng Xianxian's head as a silent comfort. Feng Xianxian was very nervous. She could not tell if she was looking forward to it or avoiding it. Half an hour later, the two of them stopped in front of a building. It was called the Hanwen Group. Feng Xianxian stood at the entrance of the building and was stopped by the security guard. Madam, do you have an appointment? I'm looking for Feng Yanqing. That's the name of our chairman. If you don't have an appointment, I won't let you in. Please forgive me. Tang Yan parked the car and came over. When he heard the conversation between the security guard and Feng Xianxian, he smiled silently. I didn't expect you to be a young lady who has been abandoned by the people. I don't know what's going on either. Feng Xianxian glared at him. Then you can leave now. We don't match each other's families. Let's make another call and ask. Tang Yan supported her and did not continue joking with her. Feng Xianxian took out her phone and was about to make a call when she saw a woman walk out of the door. Miss Feng, right? Please follow me. Feng Xianxian was very nervous. She followed behind the secretary and the two of them went straight to the top floor of the company. Then Feng Xianxian and Papa Feng were sent to the chairman's office. Papa Feng was very busy, but when he looked up and saw Feng Xianxian, he still smiled. I thought my daughter couldn't find her way home. Chapter 825. After I divorced your mother, I started my own business, sold the house and came to this day. I know that you've always hated me, so I left my phone number with the new landlord of the old house. All these years I haven't dared to change it. I just hope that one day you can return to my side, Papa Feng explained. He looked gentle and elegant as if he was not hated at all. But why would Feng Xianxian rather live alone for so many years than look for her parents? My daughter, you're finally back. Feng Xianxian was not used to it and she did not feel real. The person she called her father hugged her gently, but she did not feel her father's warmth. Come, sit down and talk. The father and daughter had originally planned to catch up, but at that moment, a woman in her mid-20s knocked on the door and entered the office in high heels. Dad, the contract is ready. Feng Xianxian turned her head and looked at her. So this was the legendary sister. Of course, the other party was also looking at Feng Xianxian. Wenwen, come quickly. This is your sister. I still have other things to do, so I'll go out first. Feng Wen did not intend to look at Feng Xianxian at all. To her, her sister was a creature that did not exist at all. All these years Feng Xianxian had not appeared. She heard that it was because she hated Papa Feng. Why had she been so stubborn for so many years? In the end, after knowing that the Feng family was a big corporation, did she still want to stick to them? When Feng Xianxian heard the word sister, her expression changed. This was the first time she had personally witnessed how much her father had wronged her mother back then. Xianxian. Seeing the awkward scene, Papa Feng quickly held Feng Xianxian's hand and said, "It's not what you think. I hope you can go home. Don't wander outside anymore. I can take care of you now." However, Feng Xianxian had always been proud. Moreover, she did not care about any big corporations at all. She only thought of her humble mother and stood up silently. "Tang Yan, let's go." "Xianxian, just pretend that I never came today." After saying that, Feng Xianxian turned around. However, she saw Papa Feng take out a check and fill in a series of numbers. "Here, take this." It turned out that even Papa Feng thought that she came to ask for money. Feng Xianxian felt that it was very ironic, but she still took the check. "Daddy will find you another day." Feng Xianxian walked out of the chairman's office and met Feng Wen outside with Tang Yan. Feng Wen looked her up and down, especially when she saw the check in her hand. She smiled mockingly. "You can get quite a lot just by coming back." Unfortunately, Feng Xianxian was not one to be trifled with. She immediately retorted, "All these years I've never asked him for a single cent of child support. I think your pocket money all these years should be more than that. Next time I'll definitely get it back with interest." Profiteer. "What can you do to me? I'm also your biological daughter and I'm legal." Then she grabbed Tang Yan's hand and entered the elevator. In the elevator, Tang Yan put his arm around Feng Xianxian to prevent her from catching a cold. He knew that her heart would inevitably turn cold after seeing such a scene. "Looks like you won't be able to be a rich son-in-law." Feng Xianxian smiled at him. "I even took that man's money. You're not that kind of person. You're just angry." Tang Yan knew her. Although she was not a kind person, she did not love money to this extent. "If I had known it would be so frustrating, I wouldn't have come." Feng Xianxian put the check away and put it in her purse. "Find out where there's a need for donations and do some good for him." "Are you still going to look for your mother?" Feng Xianxian shook her head. "No, I think the three of us are quite good now. What if we poke another hornet's nest and disturb someone else's peace? Wouldn't I deserve to die? You don't even want to be a rich young lady. Are you stupid? With you I won't be a rich young lady. I'll just be a police sister-in-law." Feng Xianxian followed him into the car. "I just hope that I won't get into any endless trouble because of this." "I'm not afraid of your little trouble." Tang Yan smiled as he opened the car door and brought Feng Xianxian home. "Don't be disappointed." "I'm not disappointed." Feng Xianxian forced a smile. Then she took out her phone and gave Mu Qiqi a call. She told Mu Qiqi about the situation. After Mu Qiqi heard it, she was silent for a while. Finally she sighed. "After all, aren't you also a high-class person? The kind that you look down on yourself." "I'm not." "Tisk, I'll go back to my dad tonight and take you in as his goddaughter." "What's so great about a biological father? Perhaps he's not as straightforward as my dad, a godfather." Mu Qiqi took this seriously. "I really don't care about the Hamwen group anymore." "I'm not joking. I'm not joking. Do you dislike me or something?" Mu Qiqi became serious. "Do you think anyone can become a family with me?" Feng Xianxian did not say anything, but her eyes turned red. Mu Qiqi did not say anything because she hung up the phone. She really felt that it was possible. Feng Xianxian and Xianxia were too weak. If they could get some of the Xin family's blessing, they might be able to prosper in the future. Moreover, Captain Tang and Xianxia could get along. If she and Feng Xianxian could really become god-sisters, she would be quite happy. Therefore, when Xianxia returned home that night, Mu Qiqi told him about it. Xianxia had nothing to object to. After all, in this thing's heart, Feng Xianxian was very important. "Dad has always doted on you, but you have to ask him if he's willing. If Dad doesn't like Feng Xianxian, don't force him." "Do you think I'm stupid?" Mu Qiqi shouted at the man. Then she went to the Shin family and briefly explained the situation. Feng Xianxian was always mentioned by Mu Qiqi. The two of them had a deep hatred for each other in the past. She did not expect that they would be fated to meet in the end. Therefore Old Master Shin and Shin Jianchuan did not object. The two of them even admired Tang Yen very much. It would be good if they really had such a son-in-law. When you have time, invite the two of them over for dinner. Let them come to the Shin family more often, Old Master Shin suggested. Okay, thank you, Grandpa. Mu Qiqi made an okay gesture at the old man. Things went smoothly and Mu Qiqi felt very happy. Sometimes a person's feelings could not be completely based on blood. She also deeply believed that as long as she was in any danger, Feng Xianxian would be able to run ahead. Late at night, Mu Qiqi called Feng Xianxian. When you have time, let's go to the Shin family for dinner. My dad will share half with you. Aren't you afraid that I'll be greedy and take over the nest? Chapter 8:26. Mu Qiqi's words were almost decisive. You won't. Feng Xianxian didn't know where this person's confidence came from, but she really wouldn't. What do you mean, Captain Tang? Feng Xianxian turned to look at Tang Yen and asked, do you think I'm trying to climb up to the Shin family? What you want is the warmth of a family, not those complicated things. So there's no such thing as climbing up or not. I believe that the Shin family won't think that way of you. The old chief is a noble person and the Shin family won't be any worse. You're not polite at all. Tang Yen reached out to hug her and placed his chin on her shoulder. If someone helps me love and protect you, of course I won't stand on ceremony. Similarly, I will also do my best to be filial to them with you. Is it because you're going to be a father? Captain Tang, who was silent and not good with words before, is suddenly so talkative. You've also made a lot of changes for me and our child, Tang Yen said seriously. Then he kissed Feng Xianxian's forehead. In the past, Feng Xianxian was so free and unrestrained. She could play with men and move as she pleased. She was very free mentally, but after being with him she was bound by many restrictions, especially now that she was pregnant. She had freedom of movement and was restricted everywhere. She stayed at home obediently every day and she was even afraid of danger, so she rarely took the initiative to say that she wanted to go out for a walk. Of course his heart ached for her. Mu Qiqi is really hard to refuse. Then don't refuse. She won't hurt you. Tang Yen firmly believed this. The two of them hugged each other intimately. Feng Xianxian was satisfied. However, her appearance had disrupted the peace of the Feng family, especially when Papa Feng had given her such a large sum of money. This made the other members of the Feng family feel very upset, especially Papa Feng's current wife. All these years, Papa Feng had thought of looking for Feng Xianxian, but his family had always used all sorts of reasons to stop him. It was fine if he didn't see her in the past. It wasn't a big deal. At most, he wouldn't see her for the rest of his life. However, when Feng Xianxian really stood in front of this group of people, they realized that Feng Xianxian was also one of Papa Feng's heirs. This sense of crisis made the Feng family go crazy. However, that was an existence that could not be erased. What could they do? Or was it to warn her in advance that she would not have a share in the Feng family? 3 days later, Feng Xianxian asked Tang Yen to buy some gifts. Since they were going to the Shin family for dinner, they couldn't go empty-handed. That would be rude. The Shin family was not a family that she could climb up to. But she had dreamed of having such a family. At 6 o'clock in the evening, Feng Xianxian and Tang Yen arrived at the entrance of the Shin family on time. Although Tang Yen was dressed casually, one could still see the shadow of calmness and justice in him. He was born to be a police officer. His fists and temperament said it all. Huang Yu and Mu Qiqi went out to welcome them. When they saw them, they smiled innocently. I say, girl, why do you like her so much? She really does look a little like you. People would even believe it if you said you two were sisters. Huang Yu looked at Feng Xianxian and praised her. Second aunt, you are exaggerating. Mu Qiqi smiled and reached out to help Feng Xianxian up. She introduced, this is second aunt. She is straightforward and magnanimous. Just call me second aunt like Xiaoqi. Huang Yu appeared easygoing. Tang Yen watched the women enter the Shin family's door first. Although they were holding heavy gifts in their hands, they were willing to do so. It was just a small family banquet, so there were only a few members of the Shin family present. Mu Qiqi did not want to make Feng Xianxian nervous, so she arranged for her to stay by her side. Why did you bring a gift when you came? Old Master Shin had seen the orchid a long time ago. It was cultivated by Professor Tang, but Tang Yen used it to present it to Buddha. Because he heard from Mu Chichi that Old Master Shin liked flowers. Oh, is this a lotus petal orchid? Old Master Shin's eyes widened. This thing was expensive. So expensive. How would I dare to accept it? Old Master Shin, the value of an orchid lies in its meaning, not in its value. The orchid valley is empty and stands aloof from worldly affairs. It is very suitable for you. Then tell me, how did you get this thing? Old Master Shin was worried that the young man would go astray. Tang Yen smiled faintly and explained, my uncle likes to cultivate it. Don't worry, Old Master Shin. Mu Chichi and Feng Xianxian stood at the side, stunned by the man's words. In the past he looked like a blockhead. No matter how they looked at him, he looked dull. In the end, it was not that he did not know the ways of the world. Kid, you're quite famous in the police station. You're on the same side as old Xing. I like it. Don't stand on ceremony. Just treat it as your own home. Come here often for a meal in the future. But next time just come empty-handed. It was obvious that Old Master Shin was very happy. Then Tang Yen sat down beside Feng Xianxian. Feng Xianxian poked his arm. So the professor knows how to do these things. What professor? He's also your uncle. Tang Yen corrected her patiently. Feng Xianxian laughed silently. Her heart was very warm because she knew that this man was doing this for her. 3 days ago she had been humiliated at the Feng family. He did not want Feng Xianxian to experience it again, even though the Feng family was not qualified to be compared to the Shin family. Then Xin Jianchuan walked out and glanced at his daughter. He also glanced at his goddaughter who was about to be recognized. One was painful and so were the two. You all know about what happened between Xiaoqi and Mu Tongxue. Although they are biological sisters, there are many grudges between them. I selfishly hope that Xiaoqi can still have a sister to make up for the regret in her heart. So from now on both of you are my daughters. After saying that, Xin Jianchuan gave Mu Chichi and Feng Xianxian a brocade box each. Of course, there's also a godson-in-law. However, the godson-in-law's was a red packet. Mu Chichi looked at him eagerly. Her man had not even come over yet and she was already at a disadvantage? Dad, I didn't forget about your family. Xin Jianchuan gave her another red packet. I hope that both of you will be happy. Feng Xianxian and Tang Yen looked at each other. They stood up from their seats with teacups and walked to Xin Jianchuan. Godfather will use tea instead of wine. We also hope that you can be healthy. Be good. Xin Jianchuan said to the two of them calmly. Go and sit down. We'll be a family from now on. Anyway, we'll be living close to each other. In the future you guys can come over often. Isn't Xianxian pregnant? If it's inconvenient for you to go on a mission, you can let her come over and stay for a while. The Shin family was really nice and warm. Feng Xianxian was not an unsatisfied person. Of course, she would not really disturb them often. Chapter 827. Xing Xiao entered the Shin family's house at 8:30 p.m. When he saw the little one in high spirits in the crowd, he threw away his fatigue and walked to his family. Xing Xiao is back. Huang Yu beamed. Grandpa, Dad, second uncle, second aunt. Xing Xiao greeted them one by one and nodded at Tang Yen. These two seem to be born to be brothers. This is for you. Mu Chichi handed the red packet to Xing Xiao as if she was presenting a treasure. Silly. Xing Xiao took the red packet and put it in the pocket of his suit. Xing Xiao, I want to see you and Tang Yen compete. Xin Jianchuan observed his two sons-in-law for a long time. He felt that they were both dragons and phoenixes among men. It would be more interesting to compete. What does Dad want us to compete in? One of them was a business genius and the other was a boxing champion. One was a scholar and the other was a martial artist. They did not seem to have much in common. But that was not the case. Both of them were equally smart. If it's a fight, Xing Xiao is definitely no match for him. Huang Yu immediately laughed. He's the national champion. His skills must be very good. Second aunt, everyone has their own strengths. Mu Chichi quickly protected her. It's not fair to compete like this. I know. You're the only one who knows how to protect your own. Huang Yu could not help but laugh. Why should I let these two men compete? They have nothing in common. It's better for me to compete with Feng Xianxian, Mu Chichi said with interest. Anyway, both of us are studying forensic medicine. I've attended a few more classes than you, so I'll let you compete with Tang Yan. Otherwise, people will say that I'm bullying a pregnant woman. How do you want to compete? It's very simple. There are many apps for solving cases now. The most famous one is called Genius Forensic Medicine. There are many cases in it. We'll randomly pick one and see who can find the cause of death and the murderer of the victim first. Mu Qiqi took out her phone and showed it to Feng Xianxian. Tang Yan's eyes are so sharp. I definitely won't bully you. You can also ask your CO for help. When everyone heard that, they felt that it was quite interesting. In the past, old Master Shen had opposed Mu Qiqi learning forensic medicine. Now that they could see this girl's ability with their own eyes, it was very refreshing. Then hurry up and choose a topic. I want to see it too. Mu Qiqi and Xin Jianchuan downloaded the app. Then Mu Qiqi handed the phone to Xin Jianchuan. Dad, for the sake of fairness, you can choose the questions. Xin Jianchuan took the phone and went closer to old Master Shen to choose. This one. Xin Jianchuan chose the question and passed the phone to Mu Qiqi. The title is Prison Mystery. Feng Xianxian also found the prison mystery and opened it. Then the page entered a bare prison cell. The person had died next to the iron door, curled up in a C shape on the ground. There was nothing in the cell except for a bare iron bed. The floor was damp and the walls were scratched by fingernails. Other than that, there were some words at the bottom of the picture. There's a strong smell of mold and rust. When the old man saw this, he was confused. You can solve the case with this? There's nothing. He probably died of sudden death or illness. Grandpa, can you take a closer look? Mu Qiqi reminded him with a smile. The old man looked at it for a long time. No one could enter such a sealed cell and he could not get out either. Grandpa, we have to rule out sudden death first. Look at the fingernail scratches on the wall. They're all fresh. There's a lot of sand in the gaps of the deceased's fingernails. This means that he was in pain before he died and it lasted for a long time. He didn't die of sudden death, Mu Qiqi answered. He didn't die of illness either. There's no medicine in the room and this person is strong. He shouldn't have any chronic diseases, Feng Xianxian added. Fine, just tell this old man how this person died. Old Master Shen had been in the military all his life, and he had never thought that forensic doctors were anything special. However, looking at the two little girls solving the case, he suddenly felt that not everyone could be a forensic doctor. Feng Xianxian and Mu Qiqi looked at each other and carefully observed the body. Then they said in unison, he was poisoned to death. How did you come to that conclusion? The room is sealed and there are no signs of damage around. The ground is very wet and there are no other footprints. This means that no one has come in. The head of the body is facing down and we can't see the face. But from his exposed skin there's pigmentation. That's a typical sign of iron poisoning. Mu Qiqi explained unhurriedly. Then Feng Xianxian added. Ferrous sulfate can be used in medicine to treat anemia, but if it's taken for a long time or if the medicine is overdosed, the iron will settle on the skin and organs. It will damage the respiratory tract, liver and lungs. The most serious consequence is, of course, death. There's also a reminder on this question that there's a smell of rust in the room. Ferrous sulfate appears in different states in different environments. It can melt water, oxidize and is poisonous. That's why we concluded that he was poisoned to death. Grandpa Shen nodded and suddenly understood. Of course, this is just our speculation. In fact, as long as we dissect the body, we'll get the answer very soon. After listening to the two of them, Tang Yan clicked on the answer to the question. It was indeed ferrous sulfate poisoning. When Grandpa Shen saw the answer, he couldn't help but applaud the two of them. I used to underestimate the profession of forensic doctors. The two of you have made me look at it in a new light. Very interesting. Huang Yu was stunned when she heard that. She immediately felt that the two little girls were very impressive. Then it's a draw, the old man said. Both of you are very good. Very good. Tang Yan hugged Feng Xianxian. This woman had let go of it for a long time, but she could still remember it so clearly. It could be seen that she was really suitable and really liked it. However, she had to let go of it to give birth to his child. He felt extremely guilty. Mu Qiqi leaned into Xing Zhao's arms. In fact, this was the first time Xing Zhao looked at this thing directly. The case in front of him really had the posture of a forensic doctor. It was gratifying. Mu Qiqi saw that Xing Zhao did not say a word. so she moved closer to him and smiled. Why? Are you charmed by me? We'll talk when we get back. Xianxia hugged her and said. An old man's heart was completely beating for her. Muqiqi understood and knew that there was a hidden meaning in his words. I'm happy tonight. I'll play with Xiaoxing. The family was happy. This was a liveliness that Feng Xianxian and Tang Yan had never experienced before. The two of them used to be alone and always felt that they were free. But now that they were in the Xin family, they finally understood what true family happiness meant. They were old and young and the family was neat and tidy. When your child is born in the future, it will be even livelier. Chapter 8:28. That night, Feng Xianxian and Papa Feng stayed in the Xin family until late at night. Anyway, it was a 10-minute journey. At 10 o'clock in the evening, the two of them went home hand in hand. However, when they arrived at the door, Feng Xianxian saw a black car. Then the two of them saw Papa Feng get out of the car. Feng Xianxian's smile gradually disappeared, even though she knew that she was the one who disturbed the peace of the Feng family first. Xianxian, what's the matter? Feng Xianxian was not even willing to call him father. She tried her best to ask calmly. Aren't you going to invite me in? Papa Feng stood in the darkness, his expression unreadable. Feng Xianxian turned to look at Tang Yan. Seeing Tang Yan nod, she agreed. Come in. Tang Yan took out the key and Papa Feng followed behind the two of them. How did you know I lived here? Feng Xianxian asked despite knowing the answer. After settling Papa Feng down, she made him a pot of tea. I got someone to check because I wanted to know about your recent situation. Why aren't you studying anymore? You were doing fine in Xingting. Feng Xianxian patted her abdomen and answered calmly, because I'm pregnant. Only then was Papa Feng willing to examine Tang Yan. You're a police officer, aren't you? Tang Yan nodded. He did not know what to say because he did not know why Papa Feng was here. I know that your job is very dangerous, so I still want to bring Xianxian home. It's easier to take care of her, Papa Feng said. Otherwise, when you're out on a mission, I won't be at ease if she's alone at home. Tell me your real purpose for coming here. Feng Xianxian did not believe him at all. He had not cared about his daughter for more than 10 years, and now he said he wanted to bring her home? Was his fatherly love suddenly overflowing? Xianxian, I'm concerned about you. Tang Yan and I are married. Of course, I want to live with my husband. Moreover, you gave me quite a lot of money. I can hire a responsible nanny. You don't have to worry about my daily life. If you still feel guilty, you can give me more money. Anyway, the Feng family thinks that I came to you because of this, Xianxian. I don't think so. The man tried his best to explain. I heard that you dropped out of school because of this man. Quitting school is my own business. It has nothing to do with anyone else. Mr. Feng, you should go back. I'm sorry for disturbing your family, but I have gotten my money and I have achieved my goal. The money is enough for me to live on. I will not disturb your family anymore. Feng Xianxian's tone became cold. Feng Xianxian's voice became cold. Xianxian, I just think that you can have a more stable life. Papa Feng looked very anxious and sincere. However, Feng Xianxian knew very well what his motive was. I like my current life very much. Mr. Feng, please go back or... Feng Xianxian took out the check from her purse. I'll return it to you now. Just pretend that I never went to the Hanwen group before. Papa Feng did not reach out. He just said helplessly, you'll regret it in the future. I regret it. I regret why I went to find you that day. Papa Feng looked disappointed. In the end, he left their house without drinking a single sip of tea. At that moment, Feng Xianxian poured out the tea in the teapot. Tang Yan knew that she was doing it for him, so he hugged her and comforted her. Don't be so angry. Your father is right. In this world, I'm the only one who can criticize you. No one else can. Moreover, I'm familiar with his tricks. For so many years he never came looking for me. Suddenly he came to me to express his concern because the person next to him whispered something to him. Because I'm a threat to their status and inheritance. Rather than leaving me outside, he might as well bring me back to deal with me. Also, they know that with you by my side I won't be easily bullied. So, they must have said a lot of bad things about you in that man's ear. I really regret it. Tang Yan did not know how to comfort her, so he hugged her and kissed her. This trick was very useful to Feng Xianxian. After the kiss, most of her anger dissipated. Even if you're just a poor police officer, I'm willing. That's why you're stupid. After saying that, Tang Yan went to the bathroom in a flash. Feng Xianxian immediately laughed when she saw this. She couldn't stand it now. There were still 7 to 8 months to go. Late at night, Banyan courtyard. Mu Qiqi took out the red packet that Xin Jianchuan had given Xing Xiao. She wanted to know what was inside. Xing Xiao snatched it away and did not let her see it. Dad gave this to me. I'm just taking a look. Why are you so stingy? Mu Qiqi shifted her gaze away from the red packet. You said that I'm the biological daughter of the Sheng family. You also enjoy high treatment in the Shen family. Your wish has been fulfilled. Aren't you happy? Xing Xiao put away the red packet and returned to the bed. After hearing what Feng Xianxian said about the Feng family that day, I don't think the Feng family will let her off so easily. She has acknowledged Dad as her godfather. At least the Feng family will take the Shen family's identity into consideration. Mu Qiqi had this concern. I think her father isn't a good person either. Xing Xiao did not actually say that Feng Xianxian and Xin Jianchuan's problems were still to come. Qingbin would have a hard time. A week passed and it was time for the prenatal checkup. Because of Dr. Song's instructions, Feng Xianxian went to the hospital more frequently. Because of this, Feng Xianxian and Song Qiaoji gradually became familiar with each other. She was always gentle and easygoing and her medical skills were superb. Feng Xianxian gradually gained a sense of trust in her. It seems that you're really self-disciplined. All aspects of your indicators are very standard. You're really an obedient pregnant woman. Song Qiaoji praised her. I just want to give birth to the healthiest baby. No problem. Song Qiaoji comforted her with a smile. Maintain your emotions. After Feng Xianxian finished her prenatal checkup, she returned home safe and sound. In fact, ever since Feng Xianxian looked for Song Qiaoji to read the report, Qingbin had been following her at the hospital several times because he felt that the time was ripe. Feng Xianxian already trusted Song Qiaoji a lot, but Song Qiaoji did not let him do it. Qingbin was about to lose his patience, but he was stopped by Song Qiaoji. Every time Feng Xianxian comes for a prenatal checkup, there will be someone to protect her. Of all times, you've chosen to take advantage of her prenatal checkup. Do you think Tang Yan's brain is just for show? Then when do you say, I know what I'm doing. You just have to wait for my notice. Song Qiaoji warned Qingbin sternly. Don't act on your own. Otherwise I'll tell Feng Xianxian immediately. Although Qingbin was extremely unconvinced, it was indeed the easiest to start from Song Qiaoji. All you think about is revenge, but Feng Xianxian's 2 lives are very innocent. Who asked her to be Tang Yan's woman? Qingbin sneered. Moreover, that woman of his isn't a good person either. She had ruined his brother's reputation in school. He was not innocent at all. Chapter 829. 2 days later, the case of Xing Bowen's escape was heard in court. As Xing Bowen's defense lawyer, the Xing family's lawyer collected a lot of evidence to prove that Xing Bowen did not know anything after he hit Xiao Jiyu that day. The court listened to the suggestions of both sides' lawyers, and with the forgiveness and pleading of Xiao Jiyu's family, the court finally ruled that Xing Bowen's escape was not established. However, he had to fulfill his due responsibility for compensation. The matter dragged on for more than a month before it was finally resolved. Xing Bowen was relaxed. The first thing he did after the announcement was to visit Xiao Jiyu in the hospital. Xiao Jiyu was recovering well, and the hospital was also doing their best to find a suitable bone marrow match for her. Grandpa Meng was very reasonable. Every time he saw Xing Bowen he would hold his hand and thank him countless times. But even so, Xing Bowen still felt guilty. Especially when he saw the little girl's innocent eyes, so bright and heartwarming. Uncle, Grandpa said that you're a good person. Xiao Jiyu sat on the bed and hugged the toys Xing Bowen brought. If I were a good person I wouldn't have bumped into you and run away. Xing Bowen did not hide what he had done to Xiao Jiyu. Grandpa said that Uncle was framed. Jiyu doesn't blame Uncle, Xiao Jiyu answered Xing Bowen softly. You're so good. You're so sensible at such a young age. Xing Bowen patted Xiao Jiyu's head with a heartache. When he left he gave the old man another card, but Grandpa Meng did not accept it. I can't do that, Mr. Xing. You've helped us enough. I really can't take any more. Grandpa Meng, Jiyu's treatment still costs a lot of money. Your family still has to live, so don't be polite with me. At most, when Zhou grows up, she can come to Huangyao to work and repay me. When Grandpa Meng heard this, his eyes lit up because what Xing Bowen said was indeed a path. If Zhou could live to that day, he would definitely let her repay her benefactor. Then thank you, old man. You're really a good person. Zhou is so lovable. I also hope that she will be healthy and happy. In the future, there will be people who will contact you about Zhou's study and life. Grandpa Meng, take good care of your health. When I have time, I'll visit the little girl. Grandpa Meng wiped his tears, which made people feel bitter. However, although the old man was poor, he was simple and kind, and he knew how to be grateful. Especially when he saw Xing Bowen leave, he sat by the bed and educated Xiao Juyu. In the future, when you grow up, you must find uncle and work for him for the rest of your life to repay his kindness. Grandpa, I do. Although Xiao Juyu didn't know what a job was or how long a lifetime was, she remembered this uncle in her heart and would never forget him. As a result, Xiao Juyu's matter came to an end. It had to be said that Jin Bo had spent a lot of effort, but he did not get anything. He even lost Xinyu. Xing Xiao was as hard to deal with as the rumors said. However, there was still a long way to go. There were still several years to slowly grind away. On the night that he was acquitted, Xing Bowen brought Rin Yufei to the Banyan courtyard to have dinner with Xing Zhao's family. He knew that it was all thanks to Xing Xiao that he was safe and sound this time. Eighth brother, let me toast you. My life is yours from now on. Xing Xiao did not budge at all. I was the one who saved her. In the end, I still have to take over Huangyao. This fully shows what it means to be able to do more work. Xing Bowen did not think much of it and still smiled. With you around, I can take Yufei and focus on going abroad. You're going abroad? Mu Qiqi stopped peeling the shrimp and looked at Xing Bowen. I want to learn something, and so does Yufei, so we plan to go abroad for a period of time. Do you want to completely let go? Mu Qiqi's face immediately darkened. You guys are going to have fun leaving my master Xiao to work himself to death. If I had known, I wouldn't have saved you. Huangyao is a waste in my hands, Xing Bowen said seriously. Look, in eighth brother's hands in 5 years, it will be the #1 diamond empire in Asia. Mu Qiqi and Xing Xiao changed positions and faced Xing Bowen from the side. This was to prevent this person from taking advantage of her again. Xing Xiao knew that she felt sorry for him, so he quietly pinched Mu Qiqi's neck with his right hand to comfort her. Xing Bowen rubbed his nose and felt that he had gone a little overboard. Before he finished eating, he had already pulled Rin Yufei away from the Banyan courtyard. He ran away quickly. Mu Qiqi was angry. She had thought that Xing Bowen would be aware of it after this matter was settled. Who knew that he was really going to let go of it? After so many years, Huangyao has its own system and regulations. Moreover, with Zhongting's team, I don't need to put in much effort. You don't need to put in much effort to come home an hour late every day. Mu Qiqi snorted. Forget it, third brother is an ingrate. Didn't you say that you wanted me to take care of it? Have you forgotten? Mu Qiqi turned around and looked at Xing Xiao. She replied very seriously, I was just saying. I thought that when third brother came back, the position of CEO would still be his. Xing Xiao saw that she was angry, so he leaned over and kissed her lips. Mu Qiqi was stunned for a moment and did not say anything. He used this trick every time. Forget it. It's good to go far away. Mu Qiqi sighed. After all, there was an unknown boss behind him who was eyeing the Xin and Xing families covetously. With his IQ, he can't even protect himself. Mu Qiqi expressed her disdain. Late at night at the Tang family's home. Ever since Papa Feng left that day, the Feng family had never appeared in front of Feng Xianxian again. She and Tang Yan had thought that the Feng family had stopped and forgotten about her appearance. However, Feng Wen's appearance once again put Feng Xianxian in an awkward situation. Tang Yan was still at the branch office. When Feng Xianxian heard the doorbell, she thought it was her husband because Tang Yan did not bring his keys. However, when she opened the door and saw Feng Wen, the smile on her face disappeared. What? Aren't you going to invite me in? Feng Wen was 3 years older than Feng Xianxian. She liked to wear heavy makeup and had a unique personality. Moreover, she was holding a lady's cigarette in her hand. I can't have the smell of cigarettes in my house. Feng Xianxian rejected her clearly. Besides, I made it very clear at the company that day. I know you're pregnant, so you want to go back to the Feng family to fight for a place for the child. It's not that I'm unwilling to fulfill your wish. After all, you're father's biological daughter, so let's be frank. You can go back to the Feng family, but you have to give up your inheritance rights. Feng Wen did not force Feng Xianxian to let her enter the house. She did not care either. She was only here to make her position clear. Chapter 830. You suddenly found out that your father is so rich and you're alone outside. You even married a poor police officer. Do you think I'd believe you? Feng Wen laughed mockingly. All these years we've all done our best for Han Wen. Now you're an outsider, but you want a share of the pie. If it were you, what would you do? Feng Xianxian took a deep breath. She regretted it 1,000 times. She really shouldn't have appeared in front of the Feng family. I can't explain it to you. Go back. Feng Xianxian didn't want to be in a deadlock with Feng Wen. However, Feng Wen grabbed her wrist. Don't be in a hurry to go in before I make it clear. I'm pregnant. So what if you're pregnant? Don't you just want to rely on your belly to fight for more benefits in front of Dad? Not only did Feng Wen not let go of Feng Xianxian, she even pulled her in front of her. What's so great about having the child of a lousy police officer? Feng Xianxian staggered and almost fell. Don't act pitiful in front of me. After Feng Xianxian steadied herself, she still had lingering fear. Just as she was about to hit her, Mu Qiqi was one step ahead of her. She grabbed Feng Wen's wrist from behind and slapped her. Are you still human? You even bully pregnant women. Feng Wen was stunned. She didn't expect Feng Xianxian to have a helper. Moreover, she was so strong. After pausing for 2 seconds, she suddenly wanted to fight back, but she was pressed against the wall by Mu Qiqi. She couldn't move at all. In the end, Mu Qiqi didn't train for nothing. Feng Xianxian, what's going on? She received Captain Tang's call and immediately rushed over. She didn't even have time to ask why. It's nothing. It's just the Feng family. Feng Xianxian glanced at Feng Wen and answered. Now that she thought about it, she was still afraid. The Feng family came here to cause trouble? They thought I wanted to share their property, Feng Xianxian explained weakly. After Mu Qiqi heard this, she loosened her grip and stood in front of Feng Xianxian. She doesn't care about your Feng family's money, so don't come again. Feng Wen covered her wrist that was red from Mu Qiqi's grip and looked at Feng Xianxian with resentment. Feng Xianxian, you hired a lot of people to help you put on an act. Mu Qiqi's spoiled temper almost made her want to hit her again, but she was stopped by Feng Xianxian. For my sake, there's no need for that. Mu Qiqi took a deep breath and calmed down. She looked at Feng Wen and said, I'm advising you nicely now. The Feng family shouldn't push their luck and don't come to this place again. She's really not interested in your Feng family's things. If I see her again, I don't know what I'll do. What right do you have to interfere in the affairs of our Feng family? Feng Wen stood on the steps, the resentment and anger in her heart unabated. Her business is my business. If you really want to find someone to fight, come find me. My house is at 135 Banyan Courtyard. I'm waiting for you anytime. In the dark, Feng Wen did not look at Mu Qiqi carefully, but she really remembered number 135. Just you wait. I'm not going to sleep. I'm just waiting for you. After saying that, Mu Qiqi pulled Feng Xianxian into the house. You opened the door just because someone knocked? If Captain Tang hadn't installed surveillance cameras at home and informed me when he saw it, what would you have done? Tang Yan didn't bring his keys. I thought, in the future, no matter who it is, even if Captain Tang knocks on the door, you have to ask first. Mu Qiqi helped her sit on the sofa. Are you okay? Do you want to go to the hospital for a checkup? There's no need for that. Feng Xianxian shook her head. I'm just a little annoyed. They might come looking for trouble endlessly in the future. It's also my fault. I encouraged you to look for your family. It's not your fault. After all, you didn't know that that family was such a thing. Feng Xianxian shook her head at Mu Qiqi. This matter has to be resolved properly. You're pregnant now. You can't always be angry at this family. Mu Qiqi thought about finding a way for Feng Xianxian once and for all. Alright, I'm fine now. You can go back. Your CO will come over later. Feng Xianxian urged Mu Qiqi. In fact, she was afraid that Mu Qiqi would be implicated, although she had never been afraid of being implicated. I'll leave when Captain Tang comes back. Mu Qiqi sat on the sofa and quickly fell into deep thought. Perhaps because he was worried about Feng Xianxian's safety, Tang Yan arrived home an hour later. When he entered and saw the two girls, Tang Yan's nervous expression became obvious. Are you all right? Feng Xianxian stood up and shook her head. Chi-Chi came just in time. Nonsense. I ran all the way here. Mu Chi-Chi rolled her eyes. Since Captain Tang is back, I'll go back. You can't just open the door for everyone in the future. Remember. Got it. Don't be long-winded. Feng Xianxian quickly stopped Mu Chi-Chi. Otherwise she could talk about this for a year. Do you want me to send you back? Tang Yan asked Mu Chi-Chi. No need. Master Xiao is on the way. Mu Chi-Chi quickly waved her hand. It was only a 10-minute walk. There was no need to send her back and forth. Actually, Tang Yan was afraid that Feng Wen would come back and cause trouble. However, Mu Chi-Chi had already left her house number. She was waiting for Feng Wen to come to her house. After Mu Chi-Chi left, Tang Yan hugged Feng Xianxian with lingering fear. Xiaoqi is right. Don't open the door so casually in the future. I've already learned my lesson, Feng Xianxian said seriously. I'm just afraid that there will be no end to it in the future. Tang Yan's eyes were immediately stained with a trace of black. If there was a next time, he would not let it go just like that. Even if it was this woman's family, he would not show mercy. The reason why the Feng family would not stop was because they knew that Tang Yan was just a lousy police officer. He had no power or influence. This was also the reason why they kept testing Feng Xianxian. If she had married a rich man, the Feng family would not have been worried that she would come back to snatch their things. However, she had married a poor man. Of course, the Feng family did not know about Tang Yan's relationship with the Shen family and Mu Chi-Chi. If they knew, would they still dare to be so rash? After returning home, Mu Chi-Chi sat on Xing Zhao's lap. I'm so angry. Xing Zhao glanced at her and did not say anything. He focused on the information in his hand. Xiao, the Feng family will still come looking for trouble. Mu Chi-Chi shook Xing Zhao's neck. Help me think of a way. What's your purpose in asking Feng Xianxian to acknowledge your father as her godfather? Xing Zhao was helpless against her shaking. He could only sigh and ask her. That's true. Then I'll find an opportunity to let them know that the goddaughter of the Shen family is not to be trifled with. I'll let the Feng family learn a lesson. At the mention of Qing Bin, Xing Zhao's eyes were dyed with a different color. This person was probably not so easily intimidated. However, that might not be the case. Chapter 831. After Feng Wen left the Tang family, she actually went to find someone to settle the score with Mu Chi-Chi. However, when she led the four men in black to room 135, they were stopped outside the villa. Miss, visitors need to register. May I ask which family are you from? Number 135. Feng Wen deliberately lowered her head and said in a low voice. Then you need to show me your ID. The security guard immediately reached out and asked Feng Wen for her ID, but Feng Wen dodged him. Seeing that Feng Wen wasn't cooperating, the security guard explained, I'm sorry, Mississippi. You can't enter that area. Even if you don't show your ID now, you will still have to register after you go up because there are sentries on duty. Are you purposely picking on me? My sister is in that villa down there, so I came over. Miss, the area below is a low-end villa district, while the area above is a high-end villa district. There's a difference. If you can't provide your identification, we won't let you in. The people living in that area are all big shots. We can't afford to offend them. A big shot. Feng Wen heard these three words. Number 135, what kind of big shot lives there? The CEO of Zhongting is not a big shot? Mayor Shen's niece was not a big shot? Miss, are you here to make trouble? Feng Wen was deliberately trying to get information out of her. Don't blame her for not knowing who Mu Chi-Chi was. She rarely read gossip and only knew how to work all day. That's enough, Mississippi. Please go back. Of course, Feng Wen couldn't teach Mu Chi-Chi a lesson. At the same time, she had a question in her heart. How could a person like Feng Xianxian know such a big shot? What number 135? Maybe it was just a facade that the girl had made up to make her feel fearful. However, Feng Wen was not the kind of person who believed in heresy. The security guard saw that Feng Wen was behaving strangely and had brought a few men with her, so he immediately called Mama Sheng. After Mama Sheng heard that, she went upstairs and asked Mu Chi-Chi. The security guard at the door called. There's a woman in a brown trench coat coming to our house with 4 men. Do you know them? Mommy, I don't know him, Mu Qiqi blurted out. But after 2 seconds she realized what she meant. Mommy, I know who it is. She guessed correctly, it was Feng Wen. He wanted to take revenge on her for that slap, but he didn't expect that he couldn't even enter the villa. Did she think that the banyan courtyard was so easy to get into? It was also because of Feng Wen's actions that Mu Qiqi knew that the Feng family would definitely not let Feng Xianxian go. She had to think of a way to make the Feng family completely give up on Feng Xianxian. After Feng Wen returned home, she was pulled aside by her mother and asked, "Did you cause trouble for Feng Xianxian?" "I didn't manage to gain any advantage. That bitch is too calculative. She's surrounded by inferior helpers." Whenever Feng Wen thought about how she had been slapped, she would feel very unhappy. She had actually been slapped by someone like Feng Xianxian. Don't look for trouble with her in the future. If your father finds out, there won't be any benefits, Mama Feng advised. However, their conversation was overheard by the servants at home and eventually reached Papa Feng's ears. When Papa Feng returned home, he flew into a rage. "Xianxian, no matter what, she's your sister. Do you have the cheek to cause trouble for a pregnant woman?" "Dad, I just wanted to persuade her to go home. I didn't cause trouble for her." After Papa Feng heard this, his expression softened, but he didn't fall for it. "I know very well what you're thinking. Feng Wen, you won't be that kind." Feng Wen opened her mouth and wanted to explain, but Papa Feng wouldn't believe her. "In 2 days I'll bring Xianxian out for dinner. Apologize to her in person." Feng Wen looked at Papa Feng in disbelief. She felt wronged. "Dad, for an outsider?" "She's not an outsider. She's your sister." Papa Feng lost his temper. "If you don't want to apologize, then leave this house. Anyway, I still have a son." Feng Wen was so angry that she locked herself in her room. When Mama Feng saw this, she sighed. She had clearly agreed to get Feng Xianxian back home before dealing with her. She was right under her nose and she was pregnant. It was better to deal with her outside, but this child couldn't hold back. Then Mama Feng walked up to her husband and said to him, "Feng Wen is just feeling sorry for you. Her daughter is filial. However, since you want Xianxian to go home, you have to apologize. I'll make arrangements to invite Xianxian over. Don't worry, I'll take good care of Feng Wen this time and let her get along well with her sister." Papa Feng nodded in satisfaction. "Then give me Xianxian's phone number." The next morning, Feng Xianxian received a call from Mama Feng. Feng Xianxian had no desire to speak at all. She wanted to hang up, but she was stopped by the other party. "Xianxian, Auntie sincerely wants to treat you to a meal. Your father will go too. He'll ask your sister to apologize to you properly." "There's no need. As long as you don't disturb me, it'll be the greatest apology you can give me." "Xianxian, if you don't agree to Auntie's request, your father will think that Auntie isn't doing her job well. In the end, she still has to go to your house to bother you. Tell me, why do you have to do this?" Feng Xianxian could tell that the other party was threatening her. Even so, she still didn't want to see the Feng family. "There's really no need." Mama Feng was rebuffed, but she wasn't angry because she had called Feng Xianxian in front of Papa Feng. It was this girl who didn't know what was good for her. Papa Feng was silent for a while before he finally said, "I'll go to Xianxian's house again tonight." Perhaps in Papa Feng's heart he still remembered that he had such a daughter, and that she was suffering outside. Mama Feng and Feng Wen, on the other hand, were planning to deal with the situation nearby. The whole family had their own thoughts, but none of them had any good intentions. After Feng Xianxian hung up on Mama Feng, she called Mu Qiqi again. After Mu Qiqi heard this, she smiled. "What a good opportunity. I was still thinking about how to set up a trap. Now I've saved my energy. What do you want to do?" "Of course, let the Feng family know that you don't like their things at all. Agree to them. Don't implicate Godfather and second Uncle Shen. I don't want to use their name to cause trouble outside," Feng Xianxian said to Mu Qiqi seriously. "You're not allowed to mess around either." "Am I the kind of person who messes around?" Mu Qiqi chuckled and instructed her, "Go for the prenatal checkup properly. Don't think about anything else. If your father asks you to go for a meal, go. Just send me the address and time later. Don't be afraid of anything, understand? Why are you so good to me?" Chapter 832. Besides, there's no need to bring dad and second uncle out to deal with the Feng family. Master Xiao and I will be enough. After saying that, Muqiqi hung up. Then Feng Xianxian returned Mama Feng's call and agreed to eat. She really did not want to see Papa Feng appear at her doorstep again. Then I'll book a seat and send you the time and address. Feng Xianxian nodded indifferently. A moment later, a new policewoman from the station arrived. Hello, sister-in-law. My surname is Xing. You can call me Xiao. Xing boss can't leave, so he asked me to accompany you to the prenatal checkup. Actually, I can go alone. Feng Xianxian was a little embarrassed. After all, she felt bad for always mobilizing so many people. The girl called Xiao. Xing shook her head like a rattle drum. Boss said that I have to follow you even when you go to the toilet to ensure your safety. If I can't even do this task well, then I'll go home and eat by myself. Then I'll have to trouble you. Feng Xianxian thanked her and went back to her room to get her bag. Then she went to the hospital with Xiao Xing. Song Qiaoji saw that Feng Xianxian was always accompanied by people, so she smiled. It's a little girl today. Dr. Song, please excuse me. My husband is worried about my safety, so he's troubling Xiao Xing. He's doting on you. Look at the hospital. How many pregnant women come to the prenatal checkup on their own? He's a good man. Song Qiaoji looked at the checkup report while touching Feng Xianxian's slightly protruding abdomen. I'll say it again. Pay attention to your mood. It's not good to be depressed. I'll pay attention. In a few days I'll have a lecture at the medical university. If you have time, come and listen. It's good for pregnant women. Of course, it would be even better if the child's father can attend. Song Qiaoji handed the flyer to Feng Xianxian. Thank you, Dr. Song. I'll definitely go when I have time. You're welcome. Song Qiaoji did not show any abnormalities, but she had already started to invite Feng Xianxian. In other words, she did not know which event in the future Feng Xianxian might be schemed against. That evening, Muqiqi received the hotel address and mealtime from Feng Xianxian. After putting away the phone, Muqiqi's eyes lit up with excitement. Xiao, let's go to Jinrong Manor for dinner tomorrow night. I heard that they advocate vegetarianism and are very popular recently. I haven't been there yet. Xiao snorted softly and said nothing. Was his objection useful? Moreover, this thing had never been a vegetarian. It only liked to eat meat. It's fine this time, but do you think you can protect her forever? If I can protect him once, I will. Muqiqi sat on Xiao's lap and shook his shoulders. I only have these two friends. With you by my side, I don't lack anything and I won't be in danger. So, I can only do more for my friends. She's pregnant. You can't expect me to sit back and do nothing, right? Xiao reached out and hugged Muqiqi. Love was always above feelings. No matter what kind of feeling it was. I'll get Suche to book a table. Thank you, Xiao. Xiao frowned. He was only 30 years old and he was already at the stage where he had to be called a master. Then he pulled Muqiqi over. You want to leave after taking advantage of me? Muqiqi shook her head and quickly said, I've been feeling bloated for the past few days. It's not very comfortable. Xiao thought about it carefully. These few days should be her menstrual cycle. She had always been punctual, but she had not come yet. Let's go to the hospital tomorrow. Xiao reached out and caressed Muqiqi's abdomen. Muqiqi felt the warmth of Xiao's palm and felt much more comfortable. No need. Isn't it my menstrual cycle soon? It'll be strange before I come. Moreover, tomorrow's classes are very important. I won't delay it. Xiao put her down from his lap and suddenly remembered that they did not use contraceptives that night when Bowen brought Muqiqi to Mount Yuang. At the thought of this, Xiao's emotions became much more complicated. It was just that Muqiqi did not notice. When he returned to the room, Muqiqi had already taken a shower and was lying on the bed. Xiao saw her shaking her legs, so he stepped forward and covered them for her. What's wrong? It's almost June. I'm not cold. Muqiqi was a little puzzled by Xiao's actions. If it were any other day, she would have been pressed down on the bed to fix her posture. Today Xiao did not seem to have any such thoughts at all. After taking a shower, remember to dry the water stains on your body. Master Xiao, you're very strange tonight. Muqiqi was puzzled. Xiao did not explain why and went into the bathroom. When he came out, Muqiqi was already asleep on the bed. It was obvious that she had been in class recently and was very tired. Xianxia sat on the edge of the bed, lifted the blanket and put Mu Qiqi in. Seeing that she showed no signs of waking up, he stared at her abdomen. He hoped that he was overthinking. The next day Tang Yan was about to go out with his keys. When Feng Xianxian saw him open the car door, she called out to him. Dinner at Jinrong Manor at 6:30 p.m. Don't forget. Tang Yan closed the car door and returned to Feng Xianxian's side. He kissed her forehead. I'll pick you up at home at 5. Aren't you busy at the bureau? No matter how busy I am, I have to make time to accompany you. If he did not protect his own woman, was he really going to place his hopes on someone else every time? Feng Xianxian did not say anything and watched Tang Yan drive away. She had no power or influence and no one in the Feng family was on her side. Therefore, when she went to the Feng family this time, other than causing trouble, it seemed that she would only bring embarrassment to Tang Yan. At 6 o'clock in the evening, Jinrong Manor. The Feng family had already arrived at the restaurant's private room. However, Feng Wen had been silent ever since she entered the restaurant. When Xianxian comes later, apologize to your sister, Papa Feng said to Feng Wen. His words were commanding and there was no room for negotiation. Feng Wen did not say anything, but she vented all her anger on the tea set. And you, if Xianxian comes home, promise me that you'll take good care of her. I owe her too much. Papa Feng turned his head and said to his wife, Where's Xiaowei? Xiaowei is still on the way. She'll be here soon. Mama Feng answered with a smile, trying her best to look graceful and elegant. In a while I'll also persuade Xianxian. There's no need to pester the poor police officer. Papa Feng did not like Tang Yan at all. He only felt that his daughter could find a better home. What was the point of following this man who ran to murder scenes all day? At 6:30 p.m. Feng Xianxian and Tang Yan also arrived at the private room. Papa Feng did not want to have a strained relationship with his daughter from the start, so he ignored Tang Yan. Chapter 833. Xianxian, come and sit down, Papa Feng greeted her lovingly. However, Feng Xianxian sat down at the door. Tang Yan took the opportunity to sit beside her. You're welcome, Mr. Feng. Why aren't you calling me Daddy? Papa Feng was rather unhappy. I know. 2 days ago your sister went over and made you suffer. I've also taught her a lesson. Feng Wen apologized to your sister. When Feng Wen was called, she stood up abruptly and glared at Feng Xianxian. She said to Feng Xianxian dryly, I'm sorry. There's no point in apologizing unwillingly. Besides, if my friend hadn't come over that day, I don't know if the child in my stomach and I would still be here. Feng Xianxian looked at Feng Wen coldly. Let's be honest with each other. If you don't want to apologize, I don't want to accept your apology. That's great. Feng Wen sat down angrily. Xianxian, we're all family. If there's a misunderstanding, just solve it. There's no misunderstanding. Feng Xianxian interrupted Papa Feng. Mr. Feng, you probably misunderstood. The reason I appeared in the Feng family wasn't to ask you for money. I just naively thought that I still had family and kinship. However, the attitude of the Feng family also made me realize that I shouldn't have appeared in front of you and caused myself so much trouble. If it wasn't for the money, why did you take Dad's check? Feng Wen questioned. I found the charity the next day. Now I'm just waiting to sign the donation letter. It can be considered as doing good for the Feng family, Feng Xianxian said calmly. Besides, after so many years, he knows better than me whether the living expenses that Mr. Feng has sent over have been passive. Papa Feng did not say anything, but his expression was extremely ugly. I have no intention of disturbing you, so I don't want to continue being your family. Just pretend that you've never seen me and give us a way out. Feng Wen's expression was extremely sarcastic because she did not believe a single word Feng Xianxian said. You're making it sound nice now. Now that you know that Dad is the CEO of the Hanwen Group, who knows if you'll use your identity as the second daughter of the Hanwen Group to seek benefits in the future? Especially since isn't your husband a police officer? If you have power and influence, you'll be promoted faster. After hearing Feng Wen's words, Feng Xianxian laughed out loud. In my heart, I've never taken the Hanwen Group seriously. You don't take it seriously. What about your husband? Feng Wen's words were mocking Tang Yan, which was what Feng Xianxian could not stand the most. Humiliating her husband was equivalent to slapping her in the face. Seeing that she didn't look good, Tang Yan wanted to say something, but he was stopped by Feng Xianxian. This was her family. No, this family was only related to her by blood, so she didn't want Tang Yan to waste his energy on this family. My husband has no interest in currying favor with you. Even if he does, you're not qualified, Feng Xianxian said sarcastically. Who does he think he is? Xianxian, it's not that I'm scolding you, but you're still young. You can still find better happiness. Papa Feng took the opportunity to join in. It's not that I dislike your husband, but his job is so dangerous. How can he take care of you and the child? Feng Xianxian finally understood. It seemed that the Fengs were not going to talk nicely. You don't have to worry about that, Feng Xianxian replied coldly. The purpose of my visit today is to tell you that in the future, we'll pretend that we don't know each other. This is the best outcome. Everyone will be satisfied. Seeing that Feng Xianxian was angry, Tang Yan held her hand and reminded her not to be angry. Then his calm voice sounded at the dining table. Although I don't have any background, I'm not completely helpless. It's enough to give Xianxian the life she wants. But just you? A poor police officer? With just me, a poor police officer, Tang Yan said firmly. Your Hanwen has encountered a tax problem recently, right? The director of the tax bureau over there is my senior. Tang Yan's words were unhurried, but it shocked the Fengs, especially Papa Feng. It was certain that the tax problem this time would be investigated. However, he did not expect that this poor police son-in-law would know about it. I won't make things difficult for you, and the Fengs shouldn't make things difficult for us either. Xianxian and I just want to live peacefully. We don't want the Fengs to disturb us again. Otherwise, I don't know what I'll say or do to my senior. After all, we have a good relationship. Tang Yan's words were neither servile nor overbearing, but they were always accurate and effective. Papa Feng immediately fell silent. You're threatening me. So, when you're being given face, you should take it back. Tang Yan retorted coldly. You're Hanwen, to put it bluntly. Don't you know what kind of status you have in Jianchuan? Don't think that everyone you see is interested in your money. Who do you think you are? Are you lecturing us here? Feng Wen pointed at Tang Yan's nose and scolded. It seems that the Fengs want to drink tea. If you have the ability, go ahead and sue them. I don't believe that a poor police officer like you can be brothers with the people from the tax bureau. Then we'll see. After saying that, Tang Yan looked at Feng Xianxian and asked her gently, Do you want to leave? Chi-Chi is waiting for us on the other side, Feng Xianxian replied. Let's go now. After saying that, the two of them stood up and walked to the room next door. At this moment, Feng Wen was so angry that she went crazy. Two pretentious people. What the hell? That just you wait and see. What people from the tax bureau? It's all a lie. Previously, Feng Xianxian even said that she knew the mayor's niece. Papa Feng did not say anything, but his face was livid. Xiaowen, stop talking. Accompany Mom to the bathroom. Mama Feng could see Feng Xianxian and Feng Wen from her position. She went to the room opposite. Therefore, she wanted to know who was on the other side. Feng Wen stood up unwillingly and accompanied Mama Feng out of the private room. When they reached the corridor, Mama Feng saw Su Che and the bodyguards at the door. She asked about the service in the private room. Young lady, who are the big shots inside? They even brought a few bodyguards. Oh, it's President Xing and his wife from Zhongting, who is Mayor Shin's niece. Then who are the two people who went in just now? I'm not sure either, but the two families are very close. When Mama Feng heard this, her expression changed. Then she turned to look at Feng Wen. Could it be that Feng Xianxian is really related to the Shin family? Feng Wen shook her head, indicating that she was not sure either. Who knows? If they are really related to the Xing family and the Shin family, then your father will definitely scold you to death when he finds out. Chapter 834. What's the big deal? Mom, it's fine as long as you don't tell Dad. With that, the mother and daughter went to the bathroom. When they returned, Feng Wei was already there. When the mother and daughter sat down, Feng Wei said, Where's second sister? Didn't you say you're having dinner with her? What second sister? She said she doesn't like our family at all. Feng Wen snorted, feeling extremely unhappy. Isn't that normal? Second sister has such a good relationship with Zhongting. It's normal for her to not like us, Feng Wei answered casually. Besides, I heard from the grapevine that Mayor Shin's family has already accepted second sister as their goddaughter. Of course, they don't need to care about poor relatives like us now. After hearing Feng Wei's words, even Papa Feng revealed a surprised expression. Tell me clearly what's going on. Don't you read the gossip news? Second sister and Mu Qiqi, Xing Zhao's women are very close sisters. Perhaps they want to be closer, so second sister acknowledged Mu Qiqi's father as her godfather. Now she's like a family with the Shin family. Feng Wei explained as he ate. It's all your fault. You're so engrossed in your work. Why don't you pay attention to the interesting things in the same city? After Papa Feng and the other two heard this, they felt very complicated. Feng Wen and her mother were even more embarrassed and angry because Feng Xianxian really didn't like the Feng family. It was not that she was pretending, but she really didn't like it. Then her husband. I don't know about that. It's said that he's very famous in the police world. Feng Wei was only an 18-year-old boy. He usually went to school, but he liked to interact with girls, so he heard a lot of gossip. People like Xing Xiao and Mu Qiqi were popular in Jianchuan, okay? The people around them would naturally be mentioned. The three of them stopped talking. They didn't know what to say. The family was no longer in the mood to eat. They could only wait for Feng Wei to wolf down his food. Now there was only one thought in Papa Feng's mind. If what Tang Yan said about the tax bureau was true, then, before Feng Wei finished eating, he saw a group of people coming out of the opposite room. It was Mu Qiqi and Feng Xianxian. No matter how slow Papa Feng was, it was impossible for him not to recognize Xing Xiao. In fact, the two women were walking in front while Xing Xiao and Tang Yan were walking side by side behind them. The scene of the four of them was very beautiful. But this scene made Papa Feng feel very uncomfortable because he knew that he had offended the so-called poor son-in-law. As for Feng Wen, although she felt very unwilling, she also knew how unreachable these people were. Therefore, she no longer doubted Feng Xianxian's words, nor would she look for trouble with Feng Xianxian. Among the four of them, only Mama Feng was terrified because she saw the change in her husband's expression. Then when she mentioned paying the bill, she was told, "Madam, the customer opposite has already paid the bill for you. Furthermore, he left a message for you. If you bully others, you will have to pay the price." We don't know. Mama Feng was at a loss. Go home. Papa Feng took a deep breath. He knew that his relationship with Feng Xianxian could not be salvaged. However, he was worried about the tax issue. From the moment he found out about Tang Yan and Feng Xianxian's identities, he began to tremble in fear. At this moment, Feng Wen did not say anything. She could only remain silent because she knew that if she spoke, Papa Feng would definitely settle the score with her about finding trouble with Feng Xianxian. On the other side, Mu Qiqi and the other three changed places to eat. This was because Mu Qiqi finally realized that people could not be vegetarians. If it were me, I wouldn't pay for that family's sake. Mu Qiqi felt that Feng Xianxian's money had been spent unjustly. I hope they know what's good for them. With the two of you revealing your identities, that family can only admit defeat, Feng Xianxian said with a smile. Feng Xianxian smiled. I thought you were going to think of some tricks to humiliate that family. To deal with those self-righteous people, you just need to let them know that they're really nothing. That's the best punishment. If the Feng family still has face, they won't disturb you again. Mu Qiqi snorted. I don't think they will. After Feng Xianxian said that, she subconsciously looked at Tang Yan. You've been wronged. Tang Yan had been silent, but he held Feng Xianxian's hand tightly and said, Your father is right. But I have nothing and I have a big family's trouble. I don't care. I don't care either. Feng Xianxian quickly added, afraid that Tang Yan would misunderstand. Then about the tax bureau. Wait for a good show tomorrow. He was indeed just a lousy police officer. Moreover, he had no power or influence. However, over the years he had built up a lot of connections and friends. It was naturally impossible for him to deal with a company like Zhongting, but it was not a problem for him to deal with Hanwen. Moreover, there was a problem with Hanwen itself. That's good too. Let that family look down on you. Speaking of Tang Yan's background, if his parents were still alive, he would be a director or something like that by now. Even so, although his parents had passed away, his influence was still there. It was not difficult for him to get something done. Then the four of them went to another German restaurant. When Mu Qiqi saw the steak, her eyes lit up. This is what you call dinner. Feng Xianxian laughed silently, especially when she saw Mu Qiqi cutting the steak. It was so neat and thick that it really made one's imagination run wild. Seeing you cut it like this, I've lost my appetite. I can't help it. It's an occupational disease. Mu Qiqi expressed that she could eat very well. Xianxia and Tang Yan looked at each other. The two men did not say anything. That night, the two men were just going through the motions, especially Xianxia. Actually, there was no need for him to come personally. As long as Mu Qiqi announced his man's name, the Feng family would still be afraid. We've achieved our goal. Can we stop for a few days? Mu Qiqi tilted her head and looked at Xianxia with a smile. When will I stop? Xianxia really wanted to grab her and beat her up, but it was not appropriate for him to do so in public. It's rare that it's just the few of us. Let's drink some wine, Mu Qiqi suggested, but Tang Yan and Xianxia rejected her in unison. No need. No need. Xianxian is pregnant. I still have to take care of the pregnant woman. Mu Qiqi could accept this reason. After all, it was Tang Yan. But what about Xianxia? Mu Qiqi looked at him, not understanding. You should rest early tonight. Mu Qiqi clicked her tongue. The two of them had always slept at 11 o'clock at home. It was not even 8 o'clock yet. Chapter 835. On the way home after the small gathering, Feng Xianxian kept staring at Tang Yan. Perhaps Tang Yan knew what she was thinking, so he waited until he entered the door before saying to her, I don't mind. But I mind. Feng Xianxian hugged him and said, My husband is not a lousy police officer. In my heart you're a hero. No one has the right to look down on you because you've made an indelible contribution to the stability and prosperity of this city. Isn't that enough? Tang Yan smiled. I don't mind what others think of me. I just want you not to be bullied by anyone. Feng Xianxian leaned into Tang Yan's arms and couldn't help but get angry with him. Tang Yan's voice immediately became hoarse. He held her hand and didn't let her move. I'll hurt you. Just be careful. Dr. Song told me that it won't be a problem after 3 months. If you can't help it, it's fine. When Tang Yan saw Feng Xianxian blushing, he knew that she was angry. She was pregnant and it was not easy to vent, so he carried the woman to the bed and carefully tried to please her. After she was released, he immediately went to the bathroom and took a cold shower. Feng Xianxian couldn't bear to see him like this. Why was this man so stupid? You don't have to do this. No, for the sake of you and the child. He could endure it, although a certain part of him was unreasonably firm. It was also late at night. After Mu Qiqi took a shower, she climbed onto Xingxiao's legs as usual. However, Xingxiao held her hands down. Sleep early tonight. Mu Qiqi finally understood what was going on. This person had been avoiding her since last night and was still unwilling to touch her today. What's wrong? It was easy for the little thing to notice the sudden estrangement. After all, she knew what Xingxiao's words and actions meant. Xingxiao put down the document and sat up straight. Then he looked at the little thing seriously. Think about it yourself. What time should it be these few days? Mu Qiqi thought about it. Logically speaking, these few days should be her menstrual period. She had always been punctual. However, it was already 2 days late and she still hadn't come. Her entire body trembled. You mean I? Mu Qiqi looked down at her lower abdomen. White and smooth without a trace of fat. Could it be that there was a little life inside? After all, that night on Mount Yuang, Master Xiao did not use any contraceptives and did not let her take any medicine. Although Fifth Aunt had been nursing her, there were always exceptions, right? At that thought, Mu Qiqi's mood suddenly became very complicated. Looking into Xingxiao's eyes, she said seriously, Why don't we go by a pregnancy test? Xingxiao pursed his lips tightly. He never thought that he would make such a mistake again. Seeing that he was unmoved, Mu Qiqi immediately slid down from his lap and went back to the bedroom to change her clothes. Xingxiao got up and followed Mu Qiqi without saying a word. When he saw that Mu Qiqi was about to leave with her wallet, he grabbed her wrist. I'll go. Let's go together. Mu Qiqi looked into Xingxiao's eyes seriously. Xingxiao could not refuse, so he held Mu Qiqi's hand and went downstairs together. Mama Shring asked casually when she saw them going out so late at night. Mom, you guys go to sleep first. There's something on Xianxian's side. I'll go over and take a look. Mama Xing did not suspect anything. After watching TV with Papa Xing, they went back to their room to rest. In fact, it was already 10 o'clock at night. At this time there were very few pharmacies that were open. Xianxia drove Muqiqi to several places. Finally, they stopped in front of a 24-hour pharmacy. Muqiqi tilted her head to look at Xianxia and said, "I'll go. It's not convenient for a man like you." Xianxia held Muqiqi's hand and got out of the car. At this time, who cared if he was a man or not? Xianxia entered the pharmacy and bought all the pregnancy test papers. There were all kinds of them. Muqiqi was a little embarrassed when she saw the big bag full of them. "Actually, just a few of them are enough. Buy them and prepare them." Muqiqi did not say anything else. In fact, her mind was in a mess, especially when she saw Xianxiao's unhappy expression. Could it be that her pregnancy was a burden to him? The two of them carried the things home. Then Xianxia took out several types of test papers and handed them to Muqiqi. "Go." Muqiqi's emotions were very complicated. Who would test 5 or 6 at once? I mean, if I really have it. Go first. Xianxia sent her into the bathroom and closed the door. Muqiqi held the test papers. Her head was empty and very swollen. She had been envious of Feng Xianxian before, but when it was really her turn, she was nervous and began to be suspicious. Then she opened the 5 boxes of pregnancy tests and checked them according to the instructions. After a while, she lined up the 5 pregnancy tests in a row and squatted on the toilet to observe them carefully. A minute later, there was a subtle change in her expression. "Are you done?" All the pregnancy tests had 2 red lines on them. She was pregnant. She was pregnant with Xianxiao's child. However, she felt that Xianxia did not seem happy. So when Xianxia asked, she did not know how to answer. Especially since she was afraid that Xianxia would ask her not to have their child. So Muqiqi did not say anything for a long time until Xianxia opened the bathroom door. His gaze swept across the items on the sink and he understood what was going on. However, his expressionless face fell into Muqiqi's eyes. "Come out. The toilet is cold." Xianxia reached out to hug her. Muqiqi felt a little sad. She wrapped her arms around Xianxiao's neck and said, "You're not happy. You, Xianxia, let me tell you. If you ask me to abort our child between us, I'll ignore you for the rest of my life." Muqiqi could not say anything too decisive because she was afraid that Xianxia would take it seriously. "You're in school now. You're not even 22 years old. So what? The child is already in my stomach. You're not allowed to say no." Muqiqi was anxious and struggled in Xianxiao's arms. "Let's go for a good checkup tomorrow to make sure," Xianxia said calmly as he put her on the bed. Muqiqi saw that he did not seem happy at all, so she became depressed. "I know you don't want children now, but I'm already pregnant. This is our child. What about school?" "I can take a year off," Muqiqi answered without thinking. "You have to bring a child with you wherever you go in the future." Chapter 836. You can go this crazy for me? Xianxia stood in front of Muqiqi, slightly resigned to his fate. "Do you know how much harm it will do to my body if I abort the child?" Of course, Xianxia knew that he was just angry at himself. "I just don't want you to take care of a child at such a young age. You still have a lot of youth to enjoy." Muqiqi did not answer him. She just grabbed his warm hand and placed it on her lower abdomen. She said to him, "Feel it. This is our child. Not to mention that I'm not even 22 years old now. Even if I'm only 20 years old, I'll still want it. This is our child. I can't bear to abort it." Xianxia slowly pulled her into his arms. "What should I do with you? Just listen to me. I want to give birth to the child. This is our child." At this moment, Muqiqi's tone was very firm and full of hope. If it were any other woman at this age, the first thing she would consider would be her studies, her future, and even that she would not be able to live freely in the future. She would feel that her life was completely bound by the child. However, Muqiqi was not afraid of these problems at all. She insisted that this was their child. Of course, Xianxia could not bear to hurt her body, but he did not want her to be tied up by the child and make such a huge sacrifice for him. So Xianxia could not sleep that night. In his 30-year-old life, this was the only thing that could make him stay up all night. There was only guilt and heartache left in his heart. The next day, Muqiqi woke up in Xianxiao's arms. Seeing his tired eyes, she could not help but reach out and touch the corner of his eyebrows. Haven't you thought it through? You can continue thinking, but I won't abort the child. I know I'm still young, but I've thought about it many times in my mind. After the child is born, whether it will be a boy or a girl, whether it will look like you or me. I think it's a very magical thing because it means that we will never be able to part with each other. Xiao, let's keep this child, okay? Xianxia did not say anything. He just leaned close to the little one's eyebrows and kissed her gently. I've already asked Suche to make an appointment. We'll go for a checkup together later to confirm it. Promise me that you won't not want the child. Of course I want it. I want you and the child. Because abortion was extremely harmful to the mother's body. Even though Xianxia had doubts and his heart ached, one night of thinking was enough for him to think clearly about the direction of the future. Wuxia was finally relieved when she received this answer. She quickly reached out and hugged Xianxia. Master Xiao, you're going to be a father. Xiao did not feel that. This was because the child was too young. Xianxia did not believe it. Xiao did not believe because of this. Xiao, carry me up. Wuxia leaned into his arms and whined. Xiao, Wuxia of Xiao of the Xiao of Chichi. Mu of Wuxia smiled when she felt that she was surrounded by a tall figure. She felt very warm. We'll wash up like this from now on. It's very safe. Xianxia rinsed his mouth with his right hand while his left hand wrapped around Wuxia's neck. When they were done washing up, Xianxia turned Wuxia around and instructed her carefully. Since you're pregnant, you can't be like before. You have to walk carefully and be careful when you use knives. I'll help you apply for a leave of absence from school. You can't smell those strange smells and poisonous gases anymore. At that, Wuxia wrapped her arms around his neck and nodded firmly. Sir. They had not gone to the hospital for a checkup, so Xianxia did not tell his family about it. While the two of them were washing up, a small episode happened. At about 8:30 a.m., the Hanwen group welcomed the police. Papa Feng could not help but tremble. When Fengwen saw this, she did not dare to make a sound. How could she have known that the lousy police officer that her whole family despised would actually be related to someone from the tax bureau? I'm sorry, Chairman Feng. I'll have to trouble you to make a trip, the leading police officer said to Papa Feng. When Papa Feng heard this, he felt his vision turn black and he collapsed to the ground. At 9 o'clock in the morning, Xianxia brought Wuxia to the obstetrics and gynecology hospital. When the doctor saw that she was so young, she smiled. You've decided to be a mother at such a young age? Do you like children? I don't like other people's children. I like my own, Wuxia answered in a relaxed tone. Go in. The doctor will give you a good checkup. The kind-looking doctor arranged all the checkup items for Wuxia. Xianxia was waiting outside the door. When Suche saw this, he could roughly guess what was going on. Is young madam pregnant? In the future, I'll leave her safety to you. Xianxia looked at Suche solemnly. I don't trust anyone else. Okay. Suche only had one word for it. It was difficult for Xianxia to say the word trust. Therefore, Suche swore in his heart that he would never let down the president's trust in his life. A moment later, it was time for the ultrasound. Xianxia followed her into the ultrasound room. Wuxia was lying on the bed. Xianxia saw the cold instrument moving around Wuxia's abdomen. In the middle of her womb there was a small dot. It was their crystallization. Congratulations. The baby is 40 days old. It's this small dot. It will quickly grow in your stomach. Wuxia's eyes turned red because this time, she confirmed that she was pregnant with Xiao's baby. You're still new parents, so go back and read more parenting books. The things to take note of are also in the books. Congratulations. After the checkup, Wuxia pulled down her clothes and patted her abdomen. It was in this place that her and Xiao's baby were contained. When Xianxia saw her like this, a corner of his heart seemed to be tugged fiercely. Then he picked her up. Xiao, I'm really pregnant. Really? Silly thing. This is the first photo of the baby. Wuxia held it in her hand and couldn't close the corners of her mouth. I really want to tell the world. You can't tell anyone except your family, Xianxia reminded her. In the future you have to go to dangerous places less. And don't get close to dangerous people. I'm a father now. My mouth is also full of nonsense. Wuxia was in Xianxiao's arms excitedly. Xiao, Are you happy that I'm pregnant? Is that so? Yes. Xianxia answered coolly. At this time, men hid their feelings deep in their hearts. It was impossible for them to say it out loud. Are you really happy? Xianxia did not answer this time. He just hugged Mu Qiqi even tighter. Mu Qiqi smiled, satisfied. This damn man only knew how to act cool. I'll go to your school in the afternoon. You can rest at home. Mu Qiqi answered secretly because she was still a little reluctant. But it was okay. After giving birth to the baby, she could still go back and continue doing what she liked. You're tuning in to the Zhou Xian's Legacy YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.